Should be on here now. Yeah, I ain't never seen this one. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Where they going right now is insane. So they have announcements right now that Tyson Fury is stepping back into the sport of boxing. From all kind of directions. This information is coming out. Yeah, from all kind of directions, this information is coming out. I'm not surprised. Like I said, after that Eubanks fight, I knew they were going to try to, use that to lure Tyson Fury back in as far as the interest. But at the end of the day, man, it's different stuff, but the same thing. I just gotta keep it real. This dude is not qualified to jump back in here and just leapfrog everybody. He got to find his place just like everybody else is. Now we understand him and Joshua won the fight. Yeah, everybody will watch that. Uh, but as far as anything else, I'm hearing, I feel like they're just trying to use that as promotion. Cause right now they're talking about which as far as on Tyson Fury end, I don't really believe it, but anything is possible. But they're just using certain names out there uh to kind of catapult this guy to a certain spot, and it's just weird. You know what I'm saying? Just weird. This dude's keeps popping up in different places all the time. That's the thing that kind of gets me. He's popping up all the time, man. All the time. Always has a fight ready to go. That's the thing that gets me. It's like this dude always has a fight ready to go, no matter what happens. Yeah, he always has a fight ready to go, man. I'm confused by that, but you know, it is what it is. I don't agree how they moving him right now. Yeah, I don't agree with how they moving him. Just I don't. But I see Wilder's name getting used. Why is his name popping up if they looking at him and Joshua to fight? They're like, yes, him and Wilder could fight for a fourth time. Man, come on, stop it. At this point, I don't even believe it. Because if that was the case, you telling me that Joshua wasn't the option? But that can happen? Yeah, I don't believe that. As far as not on as far as on Fury's part, the dude's partially retired right now. He's not even stepping out of retirement yet. All the way, and people are already throwing out fights that could have happened or can. But the fan bases are disappearing though. We in the month of what, May? So no fans is requesting for a Tyson Fury fight. Kind of quiet on Joshua's side. I heard he has an elbow injury. Um, got the boy Usyk coming up for the second time. Still a couple of rematches out there that needs to be done. Still, um, that's where we at right now, and people are waiting on Tyson Fury versus Joshua. I don't know why we waiting when technically this could have been the first fight that happened years ago. I feel like guys is like trying to Cinderella a little bit, like they trying to milk the process. It's you know at this point that fight being built up is way past the point of the build up. It's way past it. And to be honest with you, I feel like at this point these guys have been built up way too much at this point. The performances I've seen from a Tyson Fury, he's gotten way too much credit for what he's done in his career. To be the size he is and to get dominated like he did against Usyk, nah, ain't no coming back from that. Nah, to be the size he is and to get dominated like that against Usyk, that's not the way to go. I just don't agree with it. The way the way that everybody's looking at this guy is like no criticism at all. Like, bro, are we serious? Like, literally no criticism for this guy. It's like, yeah, man, we just want to see the Joshua fight. You could have been seeing the Joshua fight. As a fan, you could demand that fight. As a fan, you could demand that fight. You don't have to put up with just any kind of fight. You can definitely, as a fan, demand that you want to see certain fights. That's what fans do in sports, especially when it comes to like UFC. Right now in UFC, they ask for certain fights. Right now, and as soon as the UFC heard it, as far as the fans requesting it, they start building it up. You got guys jumping weight classes and everything, so they know what it is. But I think in this case, and I'm gonna just be honest, because I ain't got all day to be talking about this. It's just them milking Wilder's name has ran dry. The well has ran dry. Fury and Joshua, they can't keep going back to that well. Oh well, I could fight Wilder and all this. People like, man, you done took so long, bro. They don't even want to see Joshua fight no more. They talking about him retiring unless he fight Fury. So all the reasons and excuses why guys ain't fight certain people, that's on them, man. Those fights should already happen. And to be given passes and reasons why this fight hasn't happened, it's just a shame, bro, to be honest with you. It really is. Because I'm feeling like right now, because from what I seen Kabayel just say, he just said that I was ranked number one since the Sanchez fight. And that's what I'm saying. Since that fight, he should have already had a shot at something. But that's when I seen the Joseph Parker situation when he leapfrogged him, I'm like, whoa. How is he just leapfrogging him out of nowhere? People aren't even really paying attention to Kabayel, and it's kind of like a waste of even having all these heavyweights fight each other. It's like, oh, it's kind of a waste because guys are still fighting the same guy. We haven't even got to the point where we start mixing it up yet, as far as with the heavyweights. I mean, Wilder had two fights. He already did that, and that was what before the summer even started last year. You got Fury still. They still was dealing with the Usyk situation. Then he's going back to the Joshua saga, discussing that. None of the other heavyweights are really have anything on the table. They're not discussing Kabayel versus Parker. Um, what else? Um, I don't know, man. It's a lot of things going on in those weight classes, man. Heavyweight starting to really fade a little bit. Starting to fade. That's why I was telling people recently when everybody was putting their eggs in their basket for McCauley. I'm like, and it wasn't even because of the Parker fight. It's just that I was looking at it. I'm like, bro, Anderson is a prospect, basically. He wasn't a guy who was just ready to go. Not based off the opponents he had in front of him before that. Not to say he don't got the skills, just the experience. And then people took that and ran with it and made it into a headline story. And this is where I don't. But this is where listening to, I would say, certain how do I put it? This is where I say the public doesn't really listen to certain guys, as far as the ones they call the faces of boxing, like Ryan Garcia, Canelo, Tyson Fury. I can't tell you how many times these guys have said something where I'm like, oh my God. And then the public or the media just doesn't even pay attention to it. It's like, how big are these guys really? And this is me being a boxing fan saying this. Is people just kicking up dirt and dust and everything else for no reason? Because it seems like for Tyson Fury to be, people said nobody knows who these other heavyweights are, but they know who Fury is. But for him to be, in discussions as far as coming back or retiring, even when he said he retired, people was like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? It's like nobody was never really interested in him. It was almost like people are just picking sides just to argue in boxing. And it definitely a lot of it started with this guy. But you can't even get a real breakdown in the sport no more. Like the matchups, even the matchups with this guy, he's gonna retire with a trashy resume. To be honest with you, he's gonna retire with a trashy resume. Just to sit back and see how he fought in the first Wilder fight and the second two fights. You have people that was questioning those fights, and the dude ain't looked the same since those fights. Like, man, I don't know if people know if dudes is getting exposed right now in the sport of boxing. A lot of people. Fans don't know which direction to go. They be hearing so many lies on the daily. But I will tell you this, the results and the evidence is there. I don't know about what everybody's talking about, but I'll just say one of the biggest heavyweights, one of the most skilled heavyweights of all time, got schooled by a cruiserweight twice. And for some reason, that is not something anybody wants to discuss. So we know who everybody's favorites are. And trust me, I'm going to be talking about everybody's favorites for a lot because YouTube be trolling lately. And I'm going to show them. Just tell me, this ain't got nothing to do with anything else, but I see how YouTube moving now. It ain't got nothing to do with Tyson Fury. I don't think they do nothing when talking about Tyson Fury. But these other guys, they be getting butthurt about? Yeah. I'm telling you. A lot of these platforms are too invested in boxing for it not to be. What's going on, fighter getting knocked out? You been going in lately, brother. I was checking out your UFC over the weekend. Man, you been going in, bro. Keep going. Them breakdowns been on point. Definitely motivation. Yeah, shout out to fighter getting knocked out, man. Everybody subscribe to him. Do the best breakdowns on YouTube. But nah, man. But Tyson Fury, he has to be able to accept responsibility that he's gonna leave this era having one of the worst resumes. And I don't want to put these guys on blast or anything, but we have to be fair across the board. And you know, if you were just a person that just came to the sport today, and you look at what's happened between him and the Wilder situation, it's just people got to understand he's hasn't looked the way he has, except those the second and third fight against Wilder, and it's not really being looked at like that, and that's kind of hurting his legacy because he hasn't looked the same since. He has a trainer that's not being questioned right now that's been looking sloppy. I don't think the fans are really invested in this guy's legacy the way they proceeded to be. Yeah, man, appreciate that, bro. You already know. I'm gonna be on there later on. Yeah, them breakdowns you be doing hard. Yeah, but he has to cause he's in a tough spot right now. Cause at Fury right now, if he returns, it's gonna put more of a spotlight on him. Cause you got Moses Atama. They talking about him possibly chopping down Bacoli. I mean, if that happens, you could possibly say that Moses Atama would be a bigger name than Tyson Fury. Not just you know, from the way we look at it, but from a standpoint of him being able to accomplish that at a young age in the UK, that'll put him at the front. And you're gonna hear a lot of talks about Wilder and Fury 4, but as far as Tyson Fury said, he said he doesn't ever want to fight Wilder again. He won't be able to take those punches. Uh, he just said he just can't take those punches. Anybody else, yeah, but he said he can't take those punches from him. So I know a lot of reports coming out now. I think they're just trying to build up some kind of interest in Fury and um, saying that if a Wilder 4 fight happened, because fans love those fights, so they're definitely going to pique interest in that. But it's only going to lead to him and Joshua, which isn't a bad fight. It's something I would watch. Most fights that Tyson Fury is in, with a guy who lets his hands go, is going to be exciting. Um, Even a guy like Usyk, they match up with certain guys. You're going to be able to see how they are in the ring. But as far as this whole thing of him coming back from retirement, I don't feel like these guys retiring and then saying they're not retired is really going to help them in the long run, because I feel like with Tank doing that recently, that was a bad thing. Uh, I felt like who else has done it? Canelo kind of did it, not really. He's kind of looking ahead. I don't know if that's a good sign. It's a couple of guys that's doing that. Usually as boxers, they would say something like that, but you usually don't hear a guy who's a warrior or who's really, um, you know, attached to the sport where he's just that's what he does on a daily. Really speaking on retirement, not a Roy Jones. Even when Mike was doing it, Mike had already had personal things going on. But you usually really don't hear about these guys retiring. You usually hear people saying you should retire. So when you hear guys at the top of the sport who really haven't gave a lot of fights the fans have asked for, because a Wilder and Fury fight was not a fight people asked for. You got to understand that. I would say Usyk versus Fury was probably the first fight that Fury gave the fans in his career that they actually asked for. As far as the newer fans, most fans that know him now are newer. But he hasn't really gave the fans any kind of fights over the years. You'll say Wilder and Fury, but when Wilder and Fury set that fight up, a lot of people said that Wilder was actually cherry picking. He was actually he was ducking Anthony Joshua by fighting Fury. I told people that Fury is possibly a better boxer than Joshua, and he's not a bum. He's actually a lineal champion. So a lot of times he's that situation got overlooked, but he hasn't really gave the public fights that they need or they requested. So you got to really look at that when you're a fan of boxing and understand that, hey, I'm celebrating somebody who hasn't done nothing for me in so long. And then you perform low level against Usyk, you shut it down. As a fan, it's easy to kind of look at that and be like, you know what, not really going to invest my time in this guy as far as being a top heavyweight. And I try to warn people about that because the Ngannou situation, when they kind of swept that under the rug and blamed it on him being out of shape, and they didn't do a post fight press conference. He had a black eye the next day. It was just bad signs. I should have thought about it, but I thought that maybe he'll be able to get past a couple of things. But he didn't box the same way he did as far as early in the fight against Usyk or even late against Ngannou. He didn't box the same way against Usyk the whole time like he did in those situations. And he's not really a guy who can fight on the back foot that well. So I think that kind of caught up with him. Had some power punchers or guys who are very accurate, good footwork. So that kind of played a part as well. And heavier guys. A lot of these guys are getting away with not fighting people their size, man, at heavyweight. Um, I wouldn't say Zhang. I wouldn't say he's a guy like that because he hasn't really been able to get in the ring with certain people. And Joe Joyce is a big guy. Um, but certain people like Fury and Joshua has always kind of worried me as far as them being able to handle certain guys, especially at a certain size, because they're not really fighting big heavyweights at a big size. No Bacoli's on the resume, or not even an FA. A lot of these guys. Chizora's a big guy, but he's not really a big guy. He matches up well with a Usyk. But he's not a big guy as far as with those heavier heavyweights. And that's where the losses kind of come in at a lot of times in his career. That's why he's able to be hit. That's why he's hit and miss with like Joe Joyce and certain fights. Um, he can be able to show up. Usyk fight, he was able to get some things done. You can say that's for other reasons later on we can speak about, but Chisora said that a lot of these guys ain't clean. That's the reason why he struggles in a lot of these fights. Well, he didn't say that allegedly. As far as he was saying, it's a lot of cheating in boxing. It is what it is. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows it, and it's catching up too. A lot of people feel like there are people online trying to convince them that, oh, please don't pay attention to guys cheating and the PEDs that don't matter. I mean, these guys are going to, trust me, I'm ingrained in the sport of, trust me, I'm ingrained in the sport. So I know when it comes to PEDs, it ain't no conversation that nobody can have with me. A lot of that stuff we seen in that happened on May 2nd, whatever, that had a lot to do with PEDs. A lot of this underwhelming performances we've seen has a lot to do with PEDs. I mean, we have guys that was on PEDs before that look bad when they're fighting on turkey cards. I mean, it's simple math. It's not really that hard. And this guy is one that's been linked plenty of times. And people are going to try to overlook it. But guess what? It is what it is because this is his career. I can't go in the ring with him and fight for him. I can't make him go in there and stop Usyk from cutting off the ring or walking him down. A lot of these guys are now getting exposed, man. I don't think Turkey Al-Sheikh is surprised right now that some of these guys are performing the way they are, or they take their first loss and they got a wild excuse about war and everything else that gets overlooked. Like, man, I just want things to be square across the board. If we can, if the fans could sit up here and find out and say that Wilder had lost to Tyson Fury and he said that the excuse was that his suit was heavy. Why can Tyson Fury go on television and say that Usyk won because it's a war going on right now. That is the worst thing any boxer could say in this situation. To be honest with you, that's something that'll get a lot of guys out here canceled or banned or even suspended. I mean, people act like they ain't even hear that. Like, but then when people but when fans 4 years earlier say, "Hey man, why people bringing up this heavy suit stuff?" I mean, we literally, and a reporter is the person who said this. They was like, "Yeah, like this was from a reporter. This is not something that Wilder said on video." So fans had to go out of their way to actually find this. Tyson Fury literally said this during the fight. That's funny. You said Angelo Leo fighting in Japan? I think it's a good fight, man. I think he needs to, have a fight in Japan, something like that, a little different. I haven't really looked into the opponent that much because there's so much stuff going on. But yeah, I think it's a good fight though. It's something that he's been trying to put together for about 6 months now. I don't know if they tried to do a Luis Alberto Lopez rematch, but it don't seem like he wanted to do anything with that as far as a rematch. Lopez never said anything about a rematch from what I've seen, so I think that's a good fight for Leo. I think he's in the same. I wouldn't say the same situation. I would say he's in a similar situation than what Brian Norman Jr. is in. So those guys fighting in Japan making a lot of sense. You've had a few guys, go to Japan recently and fight over there. So yeah, that's a good place to fight. Canelo's trying to fight over there, so but I don't know much about his opponent right now. I haven't really looked at it. I'm still looking at the Puma Martinez fight. Did you watch the Puma Martinez versus Ioka fight? That's something everybody ain't talking about. I was very busy, so I ain't get no chance to talk about that fight. But Puma Martinez got dropped in that fight though, and I didn't get to see the whole fight, but he was getting hands put on him, and I didn't see nobody talk about that. But it looked like he lost that fight though. I didn't watch it though. It looked like he was. I don't know, man. Throwing a whole bunch of punches and not being accurate. I mean, it's. But I don't know. I have to go back and actually watch the whole fight. But yeah, he was getting whooped. He said style tailor made for Leo. Yeah, yeah. I think Leo will be able to do some good things. I don't know. Cause I thought Leo was gonna beat Lopez. I was like, man, his style, the way it match up. But then for some reason, I was like, I don't think he gonna fight the style though. And he went out there and fought the exact style like he fights and stopped him too. So I think Leo he gonna be good, man. After fighting Fulton, he's in a good spot right now. The 126 dangerous too, man. Like I told people, I haven't heard anyway. That would have been a good fight for anyway to get with Leo, but I think it's a bad style matchup though. To be honest with you, I think it's a bad style matchup. I think it'll be a very close fight. That's why anyway don't want to go 26 yet. It's like you got Leo, Espinoza. I would say the guys right now are probably harder than the guys that was at 26 before. You had Rovici, um, the other guys, Ford. Yeah, Ford would have been tough, but now you got Espinoza, Leo. Lopez kind of one dimensional a little bit, so yeah, but I think Leo he gonna go out there and show out. He should get a stoppage. Should get a stoppage. Japan don't really rob anybody. I've seen guys really good. Like I said, Martinez, if he was in another country, they would have robbed him. But Japan, they do a good job as far as giving guys a good scorecard. And that's something America needs to work on. I might need to do a video about that. But it's a lot of guys that been going to Japan in some close fights where I said, man, those guys could have got robbed in that fight. And Japan let these guys get the belt and take it home. I'm like, okay. So the fact that they're doing that, I don't know, man. that kind of puts them in a good position. Like fighters know this stuff, so they going over there knowing that uh, those kind of fights can happen. So it's a lot of fighters going over there. And they want to fight in Japan. They know these scorecards been on point. That's something a lot of people are overlooking. But to know that you can fight overseas and get a better scorecard than you can at home, it's not a good look. So yeah, that's why I got like Leo. Like, yeah, I go over there. But yeah, man, right now they're talking about October for Joshua versus Anthony Joshua, and those are good fights to put together. But after that, is that the last fight they're gonna have, or is this like a situation where they just have this fight and that's it for the career? Or I'm trying to figure out because it doesn't really make a lot of sense when you look at certain things. Because I would like to see these guys really go on and fight, man. I'm To be honest with you, bro, they have a really underwhelming performance as far as their career. Very underwhelming. I think Anthony Joshua, man, to be honest with you, I think Joshua, even though he doesn't get the credit for it, because which I know why people don't give him credit for it, because he hasn't done it. But I think Anthony Joshua, man, really how do I say this? He can really fight more people than what he's fighting. And I think he's more than willing to. But if he would have done that by now, it would be no purpose for him to really be dealing with anybody as far as any of the fights that's going on right now. If he was already ahead like that. Like even at a certain point, like right now, Wilder's not just gonna go out there and fight anybody at a certain point or any kind of certain fight. So, you know, certain guys are really just past certain things. A lot of people not even asking Tyson Fury to fight certain people because they feel like he's past that, like as far as in his career. He's not at a point right now where he's just gonna jump out there. They look at him. I don't know why they look at him like an old man, like he's Usyk's age or something. But he's actually a very young guy, which is crazy. Why they do that, I don't know, but yeah, he's actually a very, very young guy. So compared to Wilder and Usyk, he should be able to put a lot of years in. But I don't know, man. I mean, it's these guys' careers. I just would not want to be a heavyweight and say, you know what? I did not get to fight Kabayel. I did not get to fight Dubois. I didn't get to fight Bacoli. I didn't get to fight Parker. I didn't get to fight Zhang. I'm talking about Fury ain't fought nobody. Him fighting Wilder saved his career, to be honest with you. It made his career. Because other than that, he doesn't have nothing to hang his hat on. I don't know how many people actually saw the Ngannou fight. I didn't really look into the numbers like that, but from the reaction, from what I seen, it was more MMA guys that watched it than boxing. And I'll tell you right now, they was laughing at everybody, all the boxing fans. I'm gonna tell you, that was the most embarrassing point of boxing I ever seen. I can't even lie. That's the most embarrassing point of boxing I ever seen in my life. I mean, dude, y'all don't remember last year when dudes was like, when guys was like, yeah, man, yeah, guys was like, yeah, man, we need to save boxing because of the Ngannou situation. Like these dudes almost ruined boxing last year, bro. I don't know if everybody knows that. These dudes almost ruined boxing last year. And people are just forgetting about it. That is insane too. Like, to be honest with you, these guys should have gave us a fight between them last year, even after Joshua lost. Yeah, they should have gave us one last year because I think it's embarrassing, man. I really do. I think that's embarrassing. And then people just forget about it. Like, man, that didn't happen, bro. They deserve to be out here. They need. That's what I'm saying. We can't be rewarding guys. And if it seems like we're playing favorites at this point, why are we rewarding guys who not showing up and doing their job, man? In the sport we love, why they can't just show up and do their job, man? And then why do we have to go out of our way to build up these guys? We literally building up Fury and Joshua, then we ain't getting nothing out of it. Fury and Joshua have been built up in America. Whatever they've done since then has not benefited America. Joshua got beat over here by Ruiz. Fury got dropped over here multiple times. Or American guys who's basically cruiserweight size. Cunningham and Wilder. So he should be in improvement mode right now more than anybody. And I'm only saying this because, they're trying to change history a little bit, and it's getting kind of disgusting. To be honest with you. People don't even care about, like, whatever you have done up until this point, people haven't really cared about it that much because, you can't devalue everything and try to, well, in boxing, they try to devalue everything, and then they want to say, oh, why nobody wants to pay for nothing. Bro, you're basically telling everybody who I'm trying to convince that this is a decent sport, that you're telling them it's trash. And you're doing this just so you can appease one fighter. And then when that one fighter only fights one time a year, you're gonna tell the other 52 weeks of the year you trying to put on 1,000 pay-per-views for fights we didn't request or didn't ask for. You can't keep pushing boxing like this, man. Boxing cannot be this sport cannot be it can't grow like this anymore. It's hit a ceiling. And right now it's losing momentum because you're in the best spot possible and we still have issues. This is the worst case scenario. You should not have somebody like Turkey Al-Sheet showing up and people are still trying to figure out what's going on and certain things like that. Then the rankings aren't really playing a part. Then people are still talking about mandatories. Why are we talking, man, a mandatory? Kabayel just said he was number one before Fury, he said after the Sanchez fight, Frank Sanchez fight, he was number one. And he's still waiting. So a guy that's been number one, or that was number one a year ago, that hasn't lost a fight, is still waiting on a title fight. You can't grow the sport like this, man. We can't keep holding up the sport 4 or 5 years for old men, man. To have old men make one fight. We are taking away generations of time from these younger fighters. Because right now, the prospects run boxing. The prospects absolutely run boxing right now. Or the younger guys at least 30 and under, run boxing. It used to not be like that, but it's like that now because when you can't get entertainment from one group of people, you go to the next. But man, they got to quit using American fighters' names and not growing the sport over here. I think that's something that's so obvious right now. They got to latch on people's names and then throw dirt on it to try to raise another guy's name up. It's disgusting, man. People are tired of it, man. You can't grow the sport like that. It's the only sport that does this. It actually should have more complaining in it. Like the NBA, everybody plays each other. So they have no reason to complain about anything. Nobody forces these guys to watch the NBA. So when they complain about certain things, it's cool. As far as um, the way the public looks at it. But when you lash out at certain things in boxing, that literally turns away fans every time a big fight is on. Literally turns fans away from the results and the backlash they get from certain things. It's like you're pushing away billions so you can make millions, but you're pushing away billions. It's like if I can get a couple million people to just fall for this trap, the other billions who love boxing, nah, nobody cares about those. Bro, it was billions of people watching Ali and Frazier. I mean, not Ali and Frazier, Ali and Foreman. Now you got only a couple million people really checking in and watching a boxing fight now. And people like, yeah, man, boxing getting better. How? What are you talking about? Dudes didn't even have TVs back then when Ali was fighting Foreman. How's boxing getting better? We got the best heavyweights retiring and nobody cares. People are really trying to fake the funk like they really care about a lot of these boxers they be going back and forth arguing about. I'm showing. I just want to, because you're not going to have the best proof except for right now. This is the best proof to see that all that arguing for guys like Tyson Fury. I'm going to have to do Canelo later on because they've thrown Canelo. They've thrown Canelo under the bus like he's just trash now. You see how people talking about Canelo now? Man, these people are talking about Canelo like he's nothing. They talking about Canelo like he's nothing, man. It amazes me. But let me come on here and say the same thing the news saying right now. So technically, I don't know if everybody know it, but the news and the media is saying everything I've been saying. So basically, they copying off your boy. Now everybody running around before on YouTube. Before I said something about Canelo ain't knocking out nobody. Ain't nobody saying nothing. Everybody's just saying, "Oh, Canelo, not this guy. He too big." Now everybody telling me, "Man, Canelo, he ain't had a knockout in so long." I can't tell you how many times I've seen that in the last couple of months, and I just look at it and I'm just amazed by the cap I'm seeing lately. This dude got 60 something fights, but it took you 60 something fights to realize. You know what I'm saying? So they turn on these guys and they'll say you're a hater, but then they start saying the same thing you are. So disappointed in boxing fans, man. So disappointed. The need to be right is just it's insane. And it's hurt the sport of boxing. It really has. Instead of just valuing both fighters, they gotta pick certain sides and they gotta run the other guy in the ground. Then they try to explain why people don't pay attention to boxing. It's not that people don't pay attention to boxing, it's that people see that it's not valued the way that other people value it. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just immersing yourself into the sport and the event, people just watch the reruns. You know, to not engage. People really, a lot of people do watch boxing, man, but some people, they do. They just basically get off work, watch the rerun or whatever they missed, the little fight. They probably just go straight to the main event, watch it, and they keep it pushing. Ain't no need to support the sport. You know what I'm saying? Right now, it's no need to support the sport. I don't know if everybody knows it or not. Like, you have boxing in the Olympics, it's not even a thought anymore. And then you're trying to make pro boxing just like the Olympics. If Olympic boxing is not doing well, why would you try to make pro boxing the same way as the Olympics? This is why boxing is trash right now. They want to include every country. Instead of picking the best guy, they want to include every country. They want to build countries up. That's fine if you want to do that in boxing, but it's not going to be the best product you can be. It's going to be the Olympics. You can build up fighters and everything else, but it's gonna look like something that was built up. It's not gonna be something that's authentic. Right now, this authenticity is lacking. There's nothing authentic about the results we're seeing. We've seen multiple fights recently that have sold a lot of numbers. The common thing about those fights are those are fights that people went out and asked for. The fans requested those fights. For the boxing industry to literally come to the fans and be like, why y'all not paying for fights y'all had asked for? It's literally disgusting. And then they'll say, well, we got mandatories. We can't sit up here and just put on a fan favorite fight for everybody. Yeah, but you're not following protocol, though, in the rankings. So why would that matter to me? Yeah, if they're not following protocol in the rankings, it's like, why even discuss uh as far as the mandatories? People always bring that stuff up, but ain't nobody fighting mandatories. Ain't no Floyd started to the point where he didn't want to fight for mandatory. He just wasn't gonna fight for the belt. Plenty of fights he was in that was huge that he didn't fight for a belt. This is when somebody feels like it's a need to make sure that guys get accolades, 2-time undisputed. It's a need for that stuff. Just like when Usyk fighting Dubois again. It's not even fighting for undisputed, man. People don't even know that. Well, he is now. I'll take that back. My bad. I'm thinking of Joseph Parker. You know, Joseph Parker, Bacoli, everything that was going on. He is fighting for undisputed. I was talking about before when they had stripped the belt and gave it the Dubois and Joshua fight. That's what I'm thinking of. Because, come on, man. Like, why is this dude got his belt stripped? He been fighting everybody. This the dude who been fighting everybody. He got his belt stripped. And people are trying to make it seem like, yeah, you will have a guy like Tyson Fury that'll come out and say this guy possibly won a fight because of a war. And this guy fights everybody. Obviously has a more different opponents and big wins on his resume than Tyson Fury. Obviously, I mean the guy's 2-time undisputed, so obviously, right? But yeah, a guy with like Fury, he'll just look at their resume and just wouldn't think it's a big deal. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. The crazy part about it is, I don't even think Usyk is gonna be. Usyk is not celebrated as much as Tyson Fury was when he beat Deontay Wilder. So that's why all that undisputed stuff, it doesn't matter, man. People are gonna celebrate who they want to. You can sit up here and say the boxing fans naturally, the way they reacted to Fury beating Wilder, they treated that fight like it was an undisputed fight, and they treated Tyson Fury versus Usyk like it was just another fight. So psychologically, these people tell you who they feel like the real stars are, and they also show you that they ain't had no belief in the person for real, because I feel like that from what I'm seeing right now is lackluster, bro. It's not really a care in the world. It's like, okay, yeah, if Fury fight, he does. If he don't, he don't. Like, you're not a fan that's invested in the sport if you're thinking like that. You don't care if a guy who's been put in a position to succeed the best, he's basically picked his opponents, literally. Retired multiple times. Controversy all over the place. Most controversial boxer of all time. Not even close. Most controversial boxer of all time. Makes Adrian Broner look like a nerd. Gets more love than Usyk. So that's why I say Usyk is you. You got to go for Usyk, even if I'm a fan of Dubois or whatever. If I was, and if I am or not, it's hard to go against Usyk because it's like he's not even getting no respect right now as far as what he's done. These other guys are younger; they're not even doing this. They're sitting back trying to figure out what he's doing. At first, they were too busy. Joshua is too busy. Fury too busy for fights. And let me get the Ngannou fight out the way. Now you're in a position where you got to figure things out on your own. Got to figure things out on your own. But I love the sport of boxing, though. It's always going to succeed, though, no matter what. The sport is always going to be in a good spot. The sport of boxing always going to succeed. Because you always going to have, like, at the end of the day, I'm going to be honest with you. Whether it's Turkey Al-Sheikh involved or not, oh, man, they got yeah, whether you got Turkey Al-Sheikh involved or not, um, you need a reset, man. Like, I don't know if anybody heard about the Great Reset, but that's a part of what is going on right now. Might be a little too deep for people, but this is a reset, man. Boxing was not like this in the 70s and 80s, the years that people brag about boxing. Boxing was not like this in the 70s and 80s. When people are trying to focus, put race before the sport and everything else, and you got to do all inclusion, DEIs, and everything else in boxing. Bro, that's not the sport of boxing. You're trying to include every country and, this guy signed with this person. All that stuff is irrelevant, man. Because at the end of the day, somebody's going to end up replacing somebody. The way the system is right now is crumbling. And the reason why I say it's crumbling is because the stars that's getting the most attention and the ones, because when you're building like when Michael Jordan was in the NBA grew tremendously when Michael Jordan was in the NBA. Like the NBA skyrocketed. The guy has the most popular shoe right now, like 40 years later. One of the most popular movies, just the whole aura around the guy. But we don't have that in the sport because everything's not valued. By the time you fight a guy, they have 10 years worth of tape where everybody's saying the guy's trash. We was just building up a fight. So you got to push lies to build up a fight. So this is a sport where you got to push lies in order for you to make money. So people are telling me the sport of boxing ain't good enough to where you can tell the truth and not use people hating other people for, reasons that have nothing to do with boxing. You feel like that's gonna build the sport up? That's better than actually telling the truth and letting the talent speak for itself. We got all this talent in boxing, but we need to run around and lie about certain things and build. How can you convince the public that that's the right place to be in? Yeah, I don't understand that. I'm confused about that. I'm really like literally sitting back thinking on a daily basis, like, how are they able to think that this is going to build the sport up when you're literally devaluing the fighters? Then the fighters you make a name off of, you say, oh, they're trash and they're finished and everything else. Then it's not the same energy on both sides. So it's not even a real situation. It's not even real love for the sport. Everything is business now. Where's the love for the sport? Everything is built on hatred and business and making money. Where's the love for the sport? What are genuine breakdowns, a genuine energy and authenticity of the sport at? I'm hearing a lot of people saying people are unbiased, but dudes is lying like hell out here. Ain't nobody unbiased out here. Well, I ain't gonna say nobody, but we know, y'all know what I'm talking about. These dudes ain't unbiased out here. They definitely not unbiased. I don't know why people saying that these days. They're definitely not unbiased. If they were unbiased, the sport would be in a great place. We wouldn't have to ask any questions. We wouldn't have to find out any information. But people are getting turned away from the sport in a lot of ways because um it's just not real no more, man. You gotta be real these days. You gotta be real. You gotta be real. It's too much fake stuff going on. This month, I'm gonna be real with y'all. In the last 10 years, this month has been the worst news I've ever seen. As far as people reporting the news, this is the worst I've ever seen people report the news. I don't know if this is a result of just the internet kind of maxing out. It looked like the internet that maxed out, bro. Anything they could talk about. It looks like the internet is officially maxed out, bro. Don't y'all get tired of seeing, like, okay, you know how you have the news, like Fox News, ABC, CNN, they all like will talk about one story. It's millions of kids getting in situations, but they'll be like, yeah, Trayvon Martin or something like that, right? So they're doing the same thing on the internet. Like they'll grab one story, everybody be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? In certain situations, one story is worth the attention of everybody. So we're not talking about just in every case. Different cases are different. But when they're just grabbing certain stories and it's being pushed in a certain way and it's obvious, it makes everything lackluster. It's not authentic no more. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if in these days, Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield probably wouldn't have been a big fight these days. Because by the time the fight would have happened, people would say how trash they was, and um, they would say how Mike quit or this and everything else, and uh, just like the fight with Earl Spencer Crawford. Earl Spencer Crawford was obviously a better fight than Ryan Garcia and Tank, but look at the results. How everybody talked after the fight. So at the end of the day, it's like they're not even valuing the product, bro. No, they don't care about the product. It's been like that for a while now. I seen people today on the internet. They was like, "Man, that Haney fight with Loma, it was good." Duh. Yeah, it was good. That's why y'all was talking about it every day for like 2 years now. Yeah, it was good. I'm glad you finally noticed now. You got the hate out your heart, which is sad. But yeah, it was a good fight. You was hating so hard that you missed a good fight. That's sad. Yeah, it was a good fight. Then the guy who don't give us no good fights tried to destroy all that by cheating. Yeah, it was a good fight. Definitely was. That's why I ain't gonna give out too much information, but bruh, cause I seen now everybody be. I ain't saying I'm the most popular guy. I'm not nobody on YouTube, but I'm just saying, man, it be people reacting to stuff I be saying. I'll be like, Jesus, bro, is this a coincidence? Nah, this ain't no coincidence. It's crazy how people will be on here reacting to what a YouTuber says, but if a dude is using PEDs, they don't really care. And a lot of these dudes be boxers and stuff. The dudes cowards out here, bro. I'm being real. Now, these boxers lost all my respect. I know dudes in combat sports right now professionally that I train myself. That's professional right now. I ain't gonna name drop because I could, but yeah, I done train guys in sports myself. That's right now. Proteges right now. And y'all got dudes. I got I got little guys in combat sports right now. We talking about everybody talking about PEDs. Man, you crazy. You crazy. Get these dudes out of boxing. I don't care how good the boxer is or anybody else. You cool with that kind of behavior? Get these guys out of boxing. I don't know if people know it or not, bro, but a lot of us we lost a lot of respect for a lot of boxers who were co-signing a lot of that behavior, man. Be honest with you. Lost a lot of respect for those guys. It's not the way you act in the sport of boxing, man. It's not the way you act. You got people coming over here making a name and then going back to where they at, not even living up to their name. It's sad, man. Tyson Fury did not live up to his name, bro. He's a huge disappointment. I don't know why people feel like a guy who been boxing ever since he was born. Dude been boxing his whole life. Dude was born. He was named after Mike Tyson. This dude was raised to box. His daddy raised him to be a boxer. And for some reason, people are like, man, I'm so disappointed in Wilder. Dude started boxing when he had children. Grown man. You got professional boxers. This man ain't he wasn't growing up working out with no, you know, like I don't understand this, bro. Tyson Fury was going over. He was coming to America to work with Sugar Hill and everything, and Manuel Stewart's. So obviously he got some money behind him that's getting used uh, very well for his career to go well. But you got people like, man, I'm so disappointed in Wilder, man. He can't box. Oh man, if he could learn how to just box. What was bro? Am I tripping? Like, did Tyson Fury not get outboxed by Ngannou? People still don't want to admit that. That's why I said, bro, like, this might be it, man. This might be it, man. It might be. I don't want to say it's the last. We in the last days, but I don't know, man. This might be it. This might be it right here. Cause my thing is to know that it's things being done wrong in the sport, or it's guys who suspect, and it's not being critiqued in the same manner as other fighters who's already undisputed. Very disappointing, man. Yeah, it's very disappointing. Absolutely is. I mean, we got to realize, man, at a certain point, your favorite fighter is being used to build up somebody else at another country, but then he ain't got no career. And then the guy who he helped build up, he don't even want to fight like that. Crazy, man. That's wild, bro. I mean, these guys don't even want to fight like that, man. You gotta ask in this generation, bro. Some of these guys' favorite fighters, you gotta ask these guys to do stuff. You can't be. That's why I say I don't know how people. Some people are like, man, that's my favorite fighter. How this dude don't like to fight? You ain't never had to ask Deontay Wilder to fight nobody. Tyson, Terrence Crawford, Devin Haney, Benavidez. You gotta ask these dudes to fight nobody. Everybody else talking about, man, I need some money. I need this amount of money. Okay, you ain't gonna have no career then. You got the same chances as everybody else. And I just named 4 fighters who ain't gonna get no robberies. You ain't never heard about them fighters I just named. Somebody saying they robbed somebody. Well, people said that Lomachenko fight, but like I said before, if you go back and watch Teofimo fought Lomachenko, he had black eyes in that fight, and he was getting walked down at the end of that fight, and nobody really brings that up. I don't think they was watching him around that time. I'm gonna be honest with you. Lomachenko never gives anybody a black eye. Kambosos didn't even have a black eye. He got stopped. So if you get a black eye by Lomachenko, that means you getting beat down. But that's me thinking that everybody can break down fights, and obviously I get my hopes up way too much sometimes. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to that topic, I told y'all recently too, bro. Breaking down fights is going to be the downfall of this era. They can put on the best fights in history. A lot of these people not gonna be able to break down fights, man, and it's gonna place a huge void in this era right now. And what I've noticed is all you gotta do is have some promoter or commentator come out. Oh, that's a robbery, man. Oh, I thought that was close. Then everybody gonna say the same thing. It happened with the Loma fight. It happened with what's the fight recently we had? The Bull Chuck fight. Dude went out there and got dropped. Everybody talking about it wasn't a knockdown. It happens all the time, man. All the time. But they don't do anybody a favor in the sport though. Cause you look at the numbers and you'll say, "Oh man, it's a million people that tuned in, or it's billions of people on this earth that don't want to watch boxing. It's billions of people that don't want to hear about no racist stuff in boxing. They feel like if you got to push boxing like that, we're not gonna watch it. People will be like, man, you only got a couple people in live watching, bro. It's billions of people that don't want to watch these other guys' lives. So they're not the other bigger channels are not doing me a favor, because why would somebody want to watch my small channel when the bigger channels are already pushing lies in boxing? They're gonna be like, that small channel's probably lying too. If the big channels are lying about boxing, the small channels would definitely have to be lying. So it's a bad look on all of us as a whole. It's billions of people that they push away every day from the lies they tell about boxing. These dudes literally went on YouTube and told everybody that ESPN is lying about a PED test. And fans believed it. It's 2024. With all this technology around, all this AI and Siri, bro, ESPN come out with saying somebody failed a drug test, and people are like, yeah, they're trying to set them up. Why ain't nobody protesting ESPN? If ESPN is the one who put out that Ryan Garcia failed a drug test, why everybody still watching ESPN fights? They said stuff about Snack, New York State Athletic Commission. ESPN was the one that put out the report. Hey man, when you have a sport, let me tell you something. ESPN literally said, "Hey man, these people said we lying about an article we put out about PEDs from Ryan Garcia." They're like, "Yeah, we see that. Okay, you know what? We're just gonna take boxing off ESPN Plus. We're getting rid of boxing." We can't even put out real news no more. Boxing getting so bad, ESPN can't even put out a real article no more. What's going on, Native Wild man? What's up, man? So we literally had like the whole internet last year saying that ESPN was lying about putting out an article saying that a guy took a positive test and see how that situation has turned now since then. I don't know. I'm gonna tell you something, man. Like I said, maybe I'm crazy, but for a minute I thought that everybody loved boxing more than me. But man, when you look at the landscape of boxing right now, it's been very quiet since old boy went out there and got cooked by Rolly. But really, it's been quiet since Fury got cooked again. But man, it's been less trolling going on. I told y'all the trolling. I told y'all the trolling is gonna end, man. By the time June come around, there ain't gonna be no trolling going on. See, right now it's a lot of guys getting new favorite boxers. Right now, most fans are getting a new favorite boxer right now. I'm telling you that right now. Most fans are getting a new favorite boxer. Everybody whose favorite boxer was Ryan Garcia 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, they're getting a new favorite boxer. Everybody whose favorite boxer was Fury before he went out there and got dropped by Ngannou, they're definitely replaced Fury already. And Joshua. So it happens more than people realize. It's a lot of people replacing certain fighters right now where they're like, man, I'm not dealing with that guy. You know what I'm saying? He's not that good. They're not gonna say it out loud, but I know what time it is. I definitely know what time it is. But I don't know, man. I don't like front runners though, bro. To be honest with y'all, most people think I'm a front runner, but nah, this is proof I ain't no front runner. I'm saying some old stuff right now, and it sound new. I ain't no front runner. I definitely don't talk about stuff I don't know about. I think that's the problem out here. But yeah, I'm definitely not no front runner. It's anything I can be, but I'm definitely not a front runner. Oh yeah, shout out to Flat Out TV. What's going on, dog? Oh yeah, definitely not no victories without them pairs. Not gonna happen. Hey, for a couple of guys too, Flat Out. For a couple of guys too. For a couple of guys, I think it's like that. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. And just cause Flat Out brought it up, I'm gonna bring it up right now. Like I said earlier, the two fights that everybody questioned with Tyson Fury is the second Wilder fight and the third Wilder fight. If anybody, Tyson Fury got about 20, 30 fights. Can anybody find me some fights where he fight like that in those fights? And I usually don't bring that up because I don't really be caring about that. Even though I'm a Wilder fan, bro, I seen Mike Tyson lose bad, bro. Bite dudes' ears off. I don't care about none of that. But what I do care about is why he don't look like that since then. Sugar Hill got him and Jerry Anderson beat up, which was a bad look. And then the dude sat up here and talking about he lost because of a war and ain't get no backlash. This dude went at Ukraine and ain't get no backlash. But guys have been looking extra regular since Turkey Al Sheik been that's why people try to say, oh yeah, these guys are afraid to fight. Nah, it wasn't that those guys were afraid to fight. That weekend that everybody was fighting, everybody is off that stuff now. That's what it is. I ain't gonna throw no names out there, I'm just say everybody. Because everybody passed the test, so technically it's everybody, right? Everybody passed the test. So everybody clean now. So if the boxing doesn't look like it's Superman in the ring like it did before, yeah, that's because guys was on that stuff. Guys was on that stuff. And we've been saying it for years. Hey man, this guy on the juice, man. Watch out for this. This fighter on the juice. This is why he look like that. Do it look like Tyson Fury be in the gym every day? Like even as a grown, as a man who you being a man, if you're a man and you know how your body works and you know how hard it is to stay in shape, bro, you know how hard it is to look like Tyson Fury and to be out here just fighting clean and everything else and you working in the gym. We talking about a dude who's known for sparring. This dude has sparred everybody. And you out here looking like that and you're a clean fighter and you getting beat up by Usyk and you almost 300 pounds, one of the biggest heavyweights to ever lace up a pair of gloves. The last guy that should be losing to a cruiserweight and you've been looking regular like that, it's not good. Guys been looking smaller. Fighters been looking smaller. Check out a couple of these guys that been getting dropped recently. They've been looking smaller recently. Look at some of these guys' first fight with Turkey Al-Sheikh. They looking smaller. Your first fight with I noticed it too. I was like, that's crazy. You know, people ain't gonna mention it because you know they don't believe in PEDs. You ain't gotta believe in PEDs. You ain't gotta believe in that. You ain't gotta believe in PEDs. Everybody know when older people have certain issues with their body or something, they get steroid shots or everything else. So these guys acting like, and then you got certain people out here that believe certain things, but they don't believe PEDs. Come on, Lance Armstrong. That's why ESPN was like, we about to get up out of this boxing stuff. We had outside the lines all these years talking about PEDs, and these dudes ain't paid no attention to it. But a lot of these guys, like, I don't know how, as far as Canelo, I don't know how long he been clean. He looked bad against in Turkey Al-Sheikh, though. I warned everybody. I said Canelo's gonna look old when he fight against William Skull. Canelo look like an old man. And I don't know if that's because he's super clean right now or what, but he looks super old. He about to be 35 years old. People say it's because he got a lot of fights. This man is not no Chavez Sr. He got 60-something fights just like everybody else that was walking around in the 90s and the 2000s had. You know, everybody would have had 60-something fights if Canelo and these other guys wouldn't try to be like Floyd, fighting twice a year. Talking about some dates. That's when the sport of boxing really started becoming business. We got dudes fighting over dates, Mexican dates. First of all, Cinco de Mayo is not even a real holiday in America. It's a man-made holiday. And this man talking about, I'm trying to take my dates back. Bro, you're not even from here. You don't even know what dates you talking about. I'm talking about, man, we got to quit letting guys like Canelo and these people be just saying anything. How you going to take your dates back when that wasn't even a real holiday? Cinco de Mayo is a man-made holiday. These dudes really think that Cinco de Mayo, people going to let out of school and like that's like Martin Luther King Day or something. So yeah, he's part of the problem. And the people who think they made a lot of money off of that stuff, they didn't make a lot of money off of it because the zone was in the red. The zone lost a lot of money trying to build up Canelo versus Triple G3. You know, a lot of people lost a lot of money. That's why these guys got to go over there with Turkey Al-Sheikh because, you know, certain things with Fury. They put a lot of money into Fury, but they didn't get a lot of fights out of him. They got the Wilder fights. He got like three promoters, Bob, Frank Warren, and you know, he had the Canahan guy. So he had a whole bunch of people in his pocket. Then you got ESPN, technically somebody from ESPN or Top Rank getting sued right now. So, and they got something to do with this guy right here, and they still ain't reporting it, which is bad news, man. This is bad, man. This dude is one of the most criminally controversial fighters of all time. This dude is like John Gotti with a pair of gloves on. And he calls himself a gypsy. Oh yeah, I definitely wouldn't be surprised. I definitely wouldn't be surprised. But flat out, I'm gonna be real though. Turkey Al Sheik is not playing. Turkey Al Sheik is not playing. Bro, Turkey Al Sheik is not playing. Even recently, Dana White came out and was like, Dana White said something insane recently. He gonna say that the UFC he gonna do it the same night as Canelo and Crawford. So this man was gonna promote because a lot of these guys act like they know what they're talking about. But Dana White was gonna actually promote Canelo and Crawford because a lot of guys are coming out now because I said that Dana White was gonna promote Crawford and Canelo. A lot of guys saying no, he ain't. He ain't finna do that. Yeah, okay. Dana White had already confirmed. We seen him write the paper, sign the contract. So like, beat it. He was gonna do the fight, promote it. But this dude tried to do the same thing he did last year. I remember last year when Crawford and Turkey Al Sheik was doing the Canelo and Berlanga fight. Then they went over to UFC across the street. Dana White thought they was gonna do something like that again, but Turkey Al Sheik like, bro, this is a big fight. This is a Canelo and Crawford. Like, this is a big fight. I want to put this in a stadium or something. I don't want to have this in a small venue. And Dana's like, oh well, I don't. He's basically focusing on UFC and trying to do that at the same time. I mean, I don't know what Dana's on. You know what I'm saying? But they kind of moved on from that situation and got somebody else. But he was kind of focusing more on the dates as far as trying to have that UFC Mexican date or whatever, Noches or whatever he's doing. But yeah, he gonna be out on that fight. But Turkey Al Sheik ain't playing though. He's trying to get restore some order some kind of way. But as far as like on the testing, yeah, he's not playing because I know that one guy recently that got caught. He doing some years. I know he gonna get like 8-year ban. So in the UK, they not playing right now as far as the Pez. I don't know what happened between when Wilder fought Fury until now, but something happened in the UK where they giving dudes 8 years if you get caught with PEDs. Now after that kind of being situation, they said dude getting 8 years. I seen a lot. That's why you see a lot of guys retiring. It's a lot of guys retiring. That's why I said Tyson Fury, he can come back all he want, but that guy he has with him. Matter of fact, I'm gonna show y'all this. It's a dude named Dennis McCann, right? Dennis McCann, you can look him up. He's a fighter that was going to fight on the undercard of Usyk and Fury, and he got caught with some PEDs, and him and Fury got the same doctor. They got the same doctor and everything. They got the same doctor. So Fury, he'll watch somebody else do something, but I don't think he gonna. These guys ain't crazy like that. They ain't crazy. Not in this situation. I don't think so. Cause Canelo do that in this situation flat out, he'll be done, man. If Canelo sit around and do that in this fight and get caught, he'll be done. He will be done. But I think Canelo already knows what time it is, though. Rumors that he getting that 150 million. I know he getting at least 100. So Canelo cashing out most definitely. Um, he always wanted to fight Terrence Crawford, but yeah, I don't know if Canelo thought he's gonna look that old, man. I don't know if Canelo knows he looks that old. He feels like he's that old. Because a lot of people telling him what he need to hear, but from what the media said to Canelo, hey, flat out from what the media said, because I was gonna do a Canelo video separately, but I'm gonna go ahead and do what I was gonna do earlier, because flat out right on point with it. This is what I was gonna say. I was gonna do another live later, but I'm gonna say it now. The media turned on Canelo. They know Canelo was they know he's not good no more. They know Canelo legs is gone. They didn't know Canelo was gonna look that old. But I told everybody, Oscar De La Hoya retired at 35. And Canelo turned 35 in July. So for Canelo, I expected him to look old like that against William Skull. But to see how William Skull looked in his last fight, William Skull looked bad in his last fight. Even with him moving the way he was, William Skull looked better against Canelo than he did in his last fight. He looked horrible in his last fight, even though he won. The man looked bad. And then Munguia just got knocked out by a dude who at 160. Munguia just got knocked out by 160 with 4 knockouts. You know what I'm saying? Canelo isn't. He's cashing out. He got to. He got to because the way he see things now, you can't get a big bag in boxing unless you go through Turkey Al Sheik. Or you gonna watch somebody else get paid. You know, Tank Davis and all these other guys can say, "Nah, I ain't gonna deal with him." But when you seen Canelo go over there with Turkey Al Sheik, that's when you knew. That's where the money coming from. That's where the money coming from. That was a big cosign for Turkey Al Sheik too. But yeah, Turkey ain't playing though because I feel like, and I can't speak for him, this is allegedly, but I feel like in the back of his mind, you know what? Look at hey, I don't know, flat out, I showed flat out recently, but flat out, did you see the post that Turkey Al Sheik said to roll about Rolly and Ryan? I don't know if I still got it up here, but if you go to, I think it's on Instagram. If you go to Turkey Al Sheik Instagram, he got up that he got on the post that Rolly exposed Ryan Garcia. That man said Rolly exposed Ryan Garcia. I think he said like shut down the hype or something. Where is it at? I'm gonna pull it up. If you still got it up there. He said he exposed the hype. That's what I seen right then. Yeah, guys can take little jabs at Turkey, but yeah, he ain't gonna sit around here and let these guys disrespect him though and talk crazy. Where is it at? Let me get it. Yep, here is it. Let me see. Let me pull it up for y'all real quick. Yeah, he said he shut down the hype though, man. He know what Ryan said about them Muslim remarks. Hey, people ain't even thinking about that. Hey, flat out, they ain't even thinking about it. He like, man, Ryan said all that stuff about Muslims. He think I'm gonna let that slide? I guess everybody thought he just forgot about it. They're like, oh, he ain't thinking about it. Nah, he's definitely thinking about that. Let me see. Oh, let me see how I can pull this up. Yeah, he said that man said he shut down the hype. He said that man said Rolly shut down the hype. That man said Rolly shut down the hype, man. That's crazy. Yeah, but Turkey, he like, hey, say what you want, but you can't fool him. He know what time it is. He knows what time it is. I don't know Turkey personally, but I'm pretty sure he's seen more fights live than I have. And he know what a guy on juice look like. I'm pretty sure. And I'm pretty sure he got the connections to figure out what's going on behind the scenes as far as how PEDs work and everything else. And he hearing that how these promoters are talking about, oh well, it's just for weight loss and everything else. And Turkey said, man, oh okay, let's make sure we do the drug testing. Even the dude KSI recently, who's smart, that dude KSI is a genius. He said that if he fight Jake Paul, he gonna do a VADA drug testing. Now most people don't come out and just say that publicly, but and y'all notice everybody using VADA now. We got internet boxers using Instagram boxers are using VADA now. And the sad part about it is nobody gonna fight Ryan Garcia without VADA testing. If he don't have VADA testing, nobody's gonna fight him. If Tyson Fury's not on VADA testing, nobody's gonna fight him. Even in the Canelo situation right now, some of these guys will step in there for a bag without testing, but in this Crawford situation, yeah, they gonna vex him. Especially after he looked that last fight. It's a couple of those guys out there. It's like, yeah, especially in Saudi, they probably putting bets down right now. I know a couple of those guys. So you already had a couple of those. I don't know if they call sheiks or whatever, but you already had a couple of those guys out there already see Canelo fight live. Now Turkey already seen Canelo fight live the last fight. Now if Turkey come out to the next fight, he see Canelo throwing 1,000 punches. He gonna be like, whoa, 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 whoa. This dude throwing 1,000 punches now, and he couldn't throw nothing against William Skull. Oh yeah, he on the juice. Allegedly, that's definitely what's gonna go down. I think that was a good reason why, man. Turkey a smart dude, man. I think that's the reason why he had Canelo fight in front of him for the first time like that. Cause I was wondering, I'm like, why is Turkey having Canelo fight William Skull? He could have just went straight into the Crawford fight, even though it's 2-time undisputed, so that was gonna happen. But I'm like, man, he could just went straight into the other fight. But yeah, but if you want to see this guy how he really is and go through the process with him one time, because technically, Turkey is a promoter kinda. At this point, you might as well look at him like that. And he get to see how Canelo looks normally in front of William Skull. He come out that next fight looking different. It's gonna be questioned across the board. But Canelo been looking like this for a minute, man. A lot of people been saying recently. I've been hearing a lot of people say this. I don't know if I was one of the first, but I ain't seen nobody saying this a couple of years ago. I said, man, Canelo ain't knocking out nobody. Everybody was over there. Man, I'm talking about I was getting trolled and everything for saying that. Now everybody's saying that in the comment section. You got guys that's fan of boxing that's running around talking about Canelo ain't so you think on the co-main that Canelo versus Bud undercard? I don't know, man. Cause I thought they was gonna try to add the Pitbull fight on there. And I forgot what other fight Pitbull got. Pitbull just fought that Mexican guy. And it was another fight, but I don't know. They throwing them fights. I thought Tim Tszyu versus Fundora was a possibility. But it seemed like PBC gonna do them a separate card where they have Barrios and Pacquiao and those guys on there. So I don't know. Maybe Virgil Ortiz on there. I'm hearing that they trying to do a hometown fight in Texas for Virgil Ortiz. His next fight, Oscar talking about he don't want Virgil Ortiz to fight again until he have a hometown fight. So I think he off the table. It's kind of hard to say right now. I don't know. I thought I had an idea a couple like 2 weeks ago, flat out, but then I seen that PBC was making all them fights with Fundora and Tim Tszyu. I'm like, I don't know, man. I know one thing, and I supported PBC over the years a lot, but I will say this. Now looking back on it, PBC, man, they got taken advantage of, bro. They got taken advantage of. After all that stuff they did as far as in boxing, it still feels like guys like Eddie Hearn, Frank Warner's in a better spot. Not because they working with Turkey Al Sheik. It's just look at the events, what I'm saying, they putting on. They consistently putting them out. They consistently putting out product. Even in the women's department. Like really, Jake Paul just started getting American fighters as far as females. And that's a bad look because the ones in the UK have already been active. Australia's women fighters been active. So over here we're not really on the up and up like everybody think we are. Yeah, Canelo probably is gonna lose the next fight. Nathan Wildman, I agree with you. But yeah, we're not on the up and up like everybody think it is. We in a spot right now where they're trying to use us as a doormat right now. Just to be honest with you. They're trying to use us as a doormat. And I'm probably gonna post something later on showing y'all what I'm talking about. But when I post it, a lot of y'all gonna be disgusted. I hope I still got the picture. I know it's in one of these phones over here, but I'm gonna try to go back and get it before they delete it. But I'm when I get off here, I'm gonna go look for this picture. I'm gonna show y'all a picture they posted a couple of years ago. And probably gonna be one of the worst pictures you've seen when it comes to boxing. It's not like a fight or anything. It's just something that one of these companies was talking about as a topic that they felt like is basically their mission statement, and it was horrible. When y'all see it, you're gonna be like, "What?" It's gonna make you not want to support a lot of these platforms. But yeah, a lot of these guys dropped the ball, man. Like Terrence Crawford is barely in this position that he's in right now. Earl Spence could have been like, "Man, I ain't fighting him." He could have just did like Dave Benavidez. He's like, "Man, I ain't fighting him," because already Charlo was like, "Nah." And it's like Charlo wasn't really in the position to really say no at the time he said no. It's like you weren't in a position because he was still a replacement for his brother for Canelo. So he wasn't really in the position to say no. So it's like Charlo just turned 35. Where are you gonna be at as far as where we at right now in boxing? It's like guys at PBC take a lot of these breaks, and it kind of backfires. So I think a lot of these guys get losses because of their activity. Stephen Fulton, he looked like a whole different person in the last fight because in the fight before that, he hadn't fought in a year and a half. How you got a dude that's possibly on pound for pound and ain't fought in a year and a half? And you got one of the biggest boxing companies in the world. It's crazy. A year and a half? Then people, man, say, man, he looked bad in this fight coming back. Dude was out a year and a half. Then you out so long, you can only have one fight at 126. You just moved up to a weight class. You got one fight. You've been out so long, you got to move up again. Because you can't keep the weight off because you ain't in the fight game that much as far as in your at a certain point. And guys, when you get around 30, it's hard to keep off weight. You know, guys ain't young like they used to be, so it's just natural. Metabolism slow down. It happens. But it's a bad mission statement though. Like the way PBC moving, it's gonna get a lot of guys beat. To be honest with you, the only guy I'm surprised that got beat the way he did was probably Tim Tszyu. Not really because he ran in there trying to get a knockout on somebody, but he was so active that it just looked bad, you know. And Joshua too, he was active, and those guys both kind of ran into a knockout. But you know, a lot of these guys really been looking sloppy because of activity. That's been the most thing. I mean, look at Carlos Adames. He looked amazing in his last fight, compared to the way he looked in these other fights. But he ain't been active. But they're gonna have to change that though. I know everybody's trying to fit around Canelo's schedule and everything else, but they're gonna have to get back to a point of boxing where you ain't waiting on just one person and then, oh, let's make the rest of the fights and everything else. What's crazy is though, I noticed this. They work together without working together. Because I noticed when they was putting on fights at the same time, the same night, and Saturday night, they'll wait until a main event finishes. Sometimes, you know, sometimes these guys will just start the fight at the same time. But I've noticed that sometimes they'll wait until the main event ends and then they'll start right after it ends. So they know how to work together in certain situations, as we see now. But yeah, they lacking in a lot of different ways, man. I don't think the last 10 years really grew the sport of boxing. You can say right now, this fight that Canelo's having is the first time he's really gave somebody who's a top American fighter an opportunity. I know that might sound bad, but it is what it is. It's the first time that Canelo could really say I gave a top American fighter an opportunity, a top fighter. I'm talking about top pound for pound fighter. Not somebody who's just a champion, got a belt. I'm talking about a pound for pound American fighter. It's the first time he really gave him an opportunity at a chance at a major fight. So people look at it like, oh, it's just, you know, a regular fight and everything. Canelo been in America eating a long time. He ain't really fought nobody. He been doing a lot of, you know, looking out to the UK and everywhere else. Even Lars not from America, you know what I'm saying? So Austin Trout was a hard fight. And we seen how that went. And then look at Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant's not looked at as one a pound for pound fighter in America, but that's one of the best fights that fans like from Canelo. Fought better than Kovalev and everything. So we got examples of Canelo stepping in the ring with Americans and just not going as easy as he think it is. And the media knows that now. And I'm surprised. I'm really disappointed in the boxing media because A lot of these fans right now, I've been hearing how they let a lot of these guys talk about how trash Canelo is. The guy who called the fights for ESPN with Tim Bradley, Bernardo Osuna, said that Canelo looked horrible. You got guys that work commentary for ESPN that said Canelo looked horrible. You got Mexican legends saying Crawford gonna beat him. This is after one fight now. It took William Skull to jump in the ring with Canelo for everybody that's a Canelo fan to be like, you know what? He ain't that good. I don't believe that. I think they're devaluing the win already. I think they're shooking their boots because Canelo look older than what they thought he'll look. That's just my honest opinion. I think that Canelo looked way older than they thought he looked. He been slowing down. He slowed down the Berlanga fight. If you look at Canelo's fights against Munguia, first of all, I don't know how Munguia got knocked out by 160, and then he went 12 rounds with Canelo. If nobody questions that, like how did Munguia get dropped by 160 with 4 knockouts? You telling me Canelo ain't got more power than a 160 with 4 knockouts? Yeah, the U.S. used to rule boxing. Just like Nathan Wildman said, the U.S. used to rule boxing. But the reason why they don't want, I'm gonna tell you why they don't want boxing to rule, America to rule boxing. They want to turn pro boxing into the Olympics. They want to include everybody. They feel like, oh, we got to build up this country and the UK and let's do Australia and this guy and this place. I mean, if the guys are good, that's cool. But they trying to build things up, and then you got guys over here that's giving Usyk his toughest fight, beating Bacoli, but people will say he's trash, like Michael Hunter. I told everybody last year the best fighter, the most underrated fighter I seen was probably Michael Hunter. Then a couple of months later, everybody talking about Bacoli was a boogeyman. How he the boogeyman? He lost to a cruiserweight from over here. The dude lost to an American cruiserweight, but he a boogeyman? Come on, man. What kind of tickets y'all trying to sell? How you lose to a 200-pound American, but you a boogeyman? I don't understand that. Now y'all see everybody, they done jumped off his bandwagon fast. So yeah, they do that a lot. But I think if, like I said earlier, if Holyfield and Tyson would have fought around this time, that fight wouldn't have been, it would have been a lot more backlash for that fight. In the 90s, people complained about Holyfield and Tyson and everything, the first fight and the second one, but it was interest around the fight. It wasn't too much complaints as far as everything, even though it was bad, it went bad. You know what I'm saying? In this era, though, they couldn't really handle something like that. They would have talked about how trash Holyfield was and Tyson was before they got to the ring. They would have talked about how these guys don't sell. You're just not going to see any Joe Frazier's versus Ali's or no Joe Lewis's or George Foreman's in this era because they don't want that. They want to use those guys to build up other parts of the world in boxing. Instead of people will say, oh, well, the 70s and 80s was the best type of fighters. Those are the best time as far as in boxing. But they don't want boxing to be like that, though. They want to run boxing like it's the 1920s, but they tell y'all the golden era is the 70s and 80s. If the golden era is the 70s and 80s, why you want to run boxing like it's the 1920s? Like Jack Johnson still boxing. Why are you trying to tell me that Tyson Fury only beating Wilder is good enough to put him over every heavyweight in boxing? But then they'll try to tell me that, oh, and this dude can't box. The guy looks extra bad in his last 2 fights. Overlooks that. I'm telling y'all, man, there's so many guys that they try to help use to carry the sport of boxing. They're just not good enough to carry the sport, man. If you got to pick your own fights and pick who you need to fight, you're not good enough. You said, what are the greatest fought in this era? If the greatest fought in this era, it wouldn't be no narratives going on right now in boxing. We'll have to be talking about really the sport and the fights. You seen what happened when Biv and Bivol fought. You heard more people talking about that fight than they was talking about Fury and Usyk. So, that's what happened when the greatest people fight in this era. You get the attention. You can't fool the people, man. People that really know boxing, You can't fool them. You know, people will say they don't pay attention to things, but they gave Viv and Bivol more attention than they gave Usyk and Fury. After Usyk and Fury fought, nobody was saying, "Oh man, it wasn't that much controversy." After Bivol and Bitterbill fought, people you would have thought that Pacquiao and Floyd was just fighting. So you can be from a different country and fight each other and have the best fight and probably fight of the year. But the greatest ain't fighting in this era. Look at who people say the greatest of this era right now is. Inoue. People can't name 3 people that Inoue fought. Canelo. The last 6 people that Canelo fought, um, people don't really ask for those fights. So the greatest in this era, they're not even fighting the people the fans want to see fight. So I don't know who these guys are fighting for. He's like a how do I say it? He's like a what's that guy's name out of Michigan? What's that guy's name out of Michigan? Jermaine Franklin. He like Jermaine Franklin, but Jermaine Franklin a little better than that though. I would say Jermaine Franklin. That guy Wilder fight. He kind of like Jermaine Franklin. He's a guy that's like not really with a big promotional team, been fighting a lot of guys. He's kind of similar to that guy Johnny Rice or somebody like that. Johnny Rice. He's a dangerous fighter, man. I've seen guys like I don't know if anybody knows it, but I think his name like Terrell Henderson or something like that. Flat out, but the guy's dangerous though. I'm gonna tell you why. I've seen Zane go out there. The same Zane that went out there and stopped Joe Joyce. He had went out there and fought like Johnny Rice or somebody who has a few losses. Never really beat somebody as good as that. And went out there and got whooped. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these guys, heavyweights of this era, they're not really like big name guys, but they've been whooping guys. Like that guy Jermaine Franklin, he was working in like a warehouse or something before he fought Joshua. And he gave Joshua his hardest fight. I thought he beat Joshua. So he could be one of those guys. I wouldn't overlook the guy. I think what people will look back and actually realize is this era of heavyweights in America is not really as weak as people would think. It's just that them guys ain't really got the ideal situations. Cause I technically think Jermaine Franklin is better than Dillian White and Derek Chisora. The way he was fighting Anthony Joshua, and that guy hasn't been active. He was in a warehouse working a 9 to 5, not even boxing. He definitely a world class talent. But these guys working 9 to 5 though, so it's kind of hard for them to compete. And then their body's not really, fighting. Anthony Joshua, he's a specimen. Usyk, it's kind of hard to get in the ring and fight with guys like that. Most of these guys built like Charles Martin. You know what I'm saying? But Wilder just got to get his legs up under him and get some rounds. That's it. Get some rounds in and just get that tenacity back. That's all he needs, to be honest with you. Because man, from what I'm seeing right now, even with what's his name? Klitschko. Klitschko, even with Klitschko look like he returning, bro, just because dude's been so dirty. I was wondering recently, like, why is Klitschko returning with Turkey Al-Sheikh involved? And he's still talking about returning to boxing right now. They talking about him fighting possibly Kabayel or something. The guy who just fought Zane, who's just stopped Zane. But I think Klitschko, man, when he was boxing, I think he feels like, can't speak for him, but he's always had a problem with because people say he was on some or whatever. But his problem was, guys was dirty and they was cheating. So he got out of the sport at a certain point, then he got back in. I think they just need some time. Yeah, I understand what you're saying as far as Malik Scott. I think they just need some time though. Cause Malik Scott doing a good job with Zerto. And I'm gonna be honest with you, from my experience, flat out from my experience, when you're doing combat like that and you just get a whole new trainer, and then with Wilder, he's only had what, one or two trainers. He's only worked with what, the I forgot the white guy's name. He's only had Breland. That was his only trainer. Most guys as a boxer, Tyson Fury's worked with his dad. He's worked with Emmanuel Stewart, Sugar Hill, Andy Lee, and the Ben guy. A lot of these fighters are used to working with multiple people growing up. But Wilder, he's not really a guy who's used to working with multiple people. So he was already gonna have a learning curve going into it. But I think with him being injured though, yeah, it's gonna make Malik look suspect. But I definitely put a lot of that stuff on the injuries though. Trust me. If he gonna get it done next time, bro. People don't believe it, but at the end of the day, a lot of these guys ain't never even dropped Tyson Fury. I know a lot of people can say, man, as far as Wilder, I gotta see it to believe it, bro. With these other heavyweights, you ain't never seen it. These guys ain't gonna never knock down Tyson Fury in a fight. They not even good enough to drop Tyson Fury. A lot of these guys got to be on the PEDs to drop Tyson Fury. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these guys ain't gonna never drop Tyson Fury in a fight ever. Even when he's 40 years old, they ain't gonna be able to do it. Especially with the after that Bacoli fight I seen recently with Jogba. But I think that they just need some time though, because Wilder ain't fighting no bums. For Wilder to fight, yeah, I want to go to that fight, dog. If I can go to that fight in Kansas, I want to go to that. But I had to sit back and think about it really, honestly, and I had to evaluate, and I had to realize, man, it's still dudes out here that do not want to fight Luis Ortiz, man. I had to realize that recently. It's people that do not want to fight Luis Ortiz right now. It's people that don't want to fight Kabayel right now. It's a lot of heavyweights that's getting ducked outside Wilder. Even if people wanted to move past Wilder and be like, man, he ain't got no value to the sport, man. We done moved on. These dudes ain't trying to fight nobody. Daniel Dubois had to call out Hrgovic. He had to put out a video to call out Hrgovic because Hrgovic, he had a chance to choose Joshua or somebody else. And Dubois was like, I'm trying to fight Hrgovic. He was like, Hrgovic, I'm trying to fight you. He put the video out, went and fought him. Yeah, in Kansas, that's good. That's a good fight, dog. In the Midwest, yeah, Midwest be showing out. Midwest gonna be showing out. I don't know when. I think Carissa Shields fighting in what June something around that time. So yeah, those two fights right there is gonna be must see TV. I was trying to tell dudes recently, Carissa Shields fought on a Sunday during the playoffs when the championship games was on, and everybody was tuning in. I was like, bruh, people can say what they want about her. She must see TV. When dudes is tuning in during the NFC, AFC championship to watch Carissa Shields box, she must see TV. But yeah, with Wilder though, man, if he was in a situation like with Joshua them, when they're able to fight these guys, and then he always getting guys out of there in the first round. So it's like, bro, you ain't getting no rounds in when you do box. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like he's always getting guys up out of there. So when you really look at the rounds he's getting, he's not really getting that many rounds. I think he got more rounds against Fury. But when he fought that Helenius guy, wasn't that like Malik Scott first fight? No, Malik Scott first fight was the third Fury fight. I'm tripping. That was the first fight. Looked a little better in that fight. That weight definitely played a part. The leaning and everything else. But yeah, I understand what Flat Out talking about though. He's speaking facts though. Because people, and it's just a question of concern. Anybody, I know a lot of people get offended, like, man, why people questioning Malik Scott as a trainer? Bro, everybody get questioned as a trainer. That's just a question of concern because people already know Wilder got the power. They just want to know the trainer is focused on his abilities to win rounds and score. We've seen him win rounds, but is the trainer focusing on that? That's just what people wonder. You know, as far as people who really support, because a lot of people do support Deontay Wilder out here more than people realize. But like the people who just want to distract, they can do that. But I have no problem with another heavyweight stepping up. If people feel like they have another heavyweight that can take over boxing, waiting on them to get something done. Usyk doing rematches right now, that's not really a good sign to me. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. For people to be having Usyk rematch Dubois, Fury, and Anthony Joshua twice, which is unheard of. That's unheard of. The man he should be really getting like 150 for this, 150 million. Besides Canelo, because he really don't got to do that. He's already moved up to heavyweight. Don't really got to fight everybody like that. As far as Dubois twice, and you already fought Usyk. You already fought Fury and Joshua twice. So when people look back on this era, it's gonna be like, yeah, you're gonna have to bring up Fury. You're gonna have to bring up the Wilder fight. You're gonna have to. It ain't nothing else he contributed to this sport boxing. I'm gonna tell y'all what's sad. Daniel Dubois got more classic fights with different fighters than Tyson Fury does. That Jarrell Miller fight, that was a classic. Now that was the best fight on that card. The fight with Hergovic, that was a good fight. That was a good fight for him. That was a Showtime fight for him. The Joshua fight, we already know. The Usyk fight was good because people want to see it again. So this is what I'm saying. Like, we can sit up here and try to build up certain fighters, but boxing gonna expose everybody that's trying to get built up. I'm just being real. Because Dubois, he's not a guy that you can just be like, hey man, you gonna fight Joshua? He already did it. This man is younger than Fury. He already fought Joshua. He already fought Jarrell Miller. He's already fought Joe Joyce. The guy is moving on with his career. It's some young guys in boxing who are more talented that feel like they'll fight anybody. And they're not going to just wait and, try to fit in. Dubois is changing the game right now. And people are saying, yeah, I want to see Fury fight Joshua. They don't want to. Nobody want to see Fury fight Dubois. I know Dubois and Parker was going to fight. That's cool and everything, but nobody wants to see Kabayel fight Parker because they know Kabayel just came off a stopping Zhang to the body. Something we never seen before. So, in a lot of cases, man, they need a Deontay Wilder to step in because if Usyk leaves the game and, undefeated, like it looks like he's going to do, if I'm in the boxing game, I would have tried to use, I would have gave Wilder 2 shots to get him up out of there. If I'm a UK fan, I would have been like, hey, let's give Wilder 2 chances to get Usyk up out of there. Instead of getting Dubois, let's give Wilder this fight and let's do another one next year. Because I ain't gonna lie to you, it's gonna be hard. It's a lot more pressure on Dubois to get it done because people are like, without the low blow, he doesn't lose. You know what I'm saying? Or the so-called low blow that they were saying was a low blow. So if that man goes out here and lays an egg, that's gonna be bad on his confidence. And a lot of people I don't think it's a lot of people on the bandwagon, but whoever it is, they're gonna jump off again. So Dubois, him fighting Usyk again is a lot of pressure. If he don't beat this guy, it's gonna be a larger reaction because you gotta think about it. Dubois got stopped against Usyk, and people feel like he did better than Tyson Fury did. That speaks volumes. When you get stopped, you gotta think about it. The fans psychologically break down these fights without saying anything. They feel like he did a better job than what Tyson Fury did. The demand for him to fight again, because people didn't really demand for Tyson Fury and Usyk the rematch. It was already set in stone. Nobody was saying, man, we got to see this. We must see this. You only heard that with Bitter Biv and Bibble last year. But, yeah, a lot of these young guys, they stepping in now. And it's at all ages. That's why Benavidez, it's sad right now that Benavidez's name is mentioned with everybody besides Usyk. The heavyweights, not really, but his name is mentioned with Apatai, Bivol, Bitterbib, Zerto, Ramirez. So that's a young guy. Okay, well, he'll fight anybody. Then you got Terrence Crawford jumping in the ring with Canelo. Then you got other guys like Virgil Ortiz, Fedor, and I know that Baccarat guy been waiting around. So you got a lot of people that's stepping up. Like, hey, these dudes ain't trying to fight nobody. I'll step in. Everybody gonna have to have a new favorite soon. I know we got favorites now, but that's starting to change right now. Ryan Garcia ain't gonna be active like he is. You're gonna have to watch somebody if you watch boxing. Names, but no paperwork. So you got to watch somebody. And then a lot of the names that we heard from a couple of weeks ago, people wasn't really impressed by. So does that mean that these people are gonna stop watching those people, or is it gonna be more interest in those guys in their next fight? Or was that just a one-off and you don't really feel like that was a bad situation? It was just something that happened. They didn't really want to engage. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know if people know it or not, but those were 50-50 fights. You just ain't gonna see no knockout and guys rush each other. Even in UFC, man, guys ain't really rushing each other like that in certain fights, in certain matchups. Guys ain't just gonna walk down everybody. This is a different kind of and then people say it's the era of boxing. Man, most of these guys been having action-packed fights. Rolly fight with the old man and his fight with Isaac Cruz was an action-packed fight. His last fight wasn't an action-packed fight. When he went 10 rounds with some guy from 140. But most of these guys' fights have been action-packed. Devin Haney versus Loma, Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia, versus Regis Prograis, been action-packed. But like I said, though, it's just that, when them drug tests start getting thrown around the way they, everybody ain't gonna have a certain kind of things that they used to have. It's not gonna be the same way. I think people realize that soon, but I just want y'all to know, it's certain people. If you look at them, it was some of these guys at their first fight with Turkey Al-Sheikh. If you go look at these guys' first fight with Turkey Al-Sheikh and look at them before they fought on Turkey Al-Sheikh card, these dudes is a lot bigger, man. Of course, these dudes is doping. You got millions of dollars behind this. Lance Armstrong had a whole situation behind him. Lance Armstrong had a whole situation behind him. So it ain't just one or two guys. Y'all gotta realize, man, this is a sport that still pays, man. But I think that fight in Kansas is gonna be good though, man. I think it's gonna be a classic. I hope I can go. It's in June. I don't know. I'm trying to make something happen. I'm definitely trying to make that fight happen. That's a good fight, man. Yeah, Midwest need to have more fights though. I think that in the past they used to happen a lot. They used to have a lot of fights in the Midwest, but recently they had some fights in the South recently that was good. To be honest, in the past we never used to have fights in the South like that. I mean, Roy Jones days when he was down here, he's been like Florida and different places like that. But yeah, these fights now harder to get to. But man, they better. I'm telling you, this era we in right now, they better start the sport. I mean, you keep promoting guys and making them the face of boxing, and they don't want to fight the best. They don't want to engage. It's a bad time to be in a sport like that. It really is. I think it's a bad time because even with Joshua and because I'm gonna tell you, if Joshua and Fury was smart, they would have fought Ngannou right now. You know, if they would have fought Ngannou If Fury would have fought Ngannou after he fought Usyk, and then Joshua would have fought Ngannou, it would have been a perfect plan right now. But when people try to rush and get stuff done early and you try to compete with other people because you seen Wilder was finna fight Ngannou, you want to jump in and, you know, take somebody's spot. Then when you get dropped, you don't even want to do the rematch when you had a rematch clause. It's crazy. This man still owe the man a rematch. Ngannou still ain't got his rematch yet. Still hasn't got his rematch. But yeah, man, they got to make sure the greatest fight in this era, though, man. They really have to. Because I'm sitting back thinking, I'm like, I'm telling y'all, man, if you really think about it, it's going to be a lot of great heavyweights that are not on the list for Tyson Fury as far as his resume. Joshua, he got some names out there with Weeze. I think that was a good one. Yeah, I'm not too mad about Joshua's resume. It's all right. He got a lot more better names than Fury does. For sure. I would definitely say that. That's the because he's been on a good product as far as with Joshua the matchups. Because even when he fought Jermaine Franklin, I'm like, ooh, that's a good fight. It went the distance too. And that's a dude who need to be in the ring now, man. Jermaine Franklin, the truth. I don't know what's up with that situation. I know he's with Salida Promotions, but I don't know what Dimitri Salida got going on. But maybe I overlooked Jermaine Franklin. But yeah, they need to get him in the ring, man. Unless he gonna fight on why they ain't put him on the Carissa Shield undercard? He should have been the co-main event for that other card when yeah, he ain't fought since Vargas last year. Dang, man, they didn't have him in the ring again. This is insane. Man, Jermaine Franklin should be undefeated right now. I'm gonna be real with y'all. Jermaine Franklin, one of the best heavyweights in the world. He should be undefeated right now. I ain't even lying, man. That dude whooped Dillian White, man. I might have to make a video about that tomorrow. This dude one of the best heavyweights, and he ain't active. Still went the distance. He fought. He gave Dillian White and Joshua one of their hardest fights in the last couple of years, and he ain't fought since last year. Why would they have Skylar Lacey on the Carissa Shields card and not Jermaine Franklin? That's insane. Yeah, that's crazy. Jermaine Franklin, the truth though. Yeah, he possibly be. See, he got a majority decision against Dillian White. Majority decision. He was plus 650 underdog. Majority decision. That's crazy. Let me see these scorecards real quick. I think I was working when this fight came on. Let me see. Bruh, the scorecards on here. They got the fans voting on here. They have the they have the fans. How this dude get 115 on the scorecards? So the fans got 115, 113. They say Jermaine Franklin won the first, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the eighth, the ninth, and 11th. This look like real scoring. So they say that man beat they say Jermaine Franklin on the box rec as far as fan scoring, which I found out over the years is very accurate. Now this scoring with Joshua, I don't know about this one. They say he lost every round. I don't know about that, dog. Oh, who was it? Jerry Forrest. It might be Jerry Forrest I was thinking about. Was it Jerry? It was Jerry Forrest. He got a draw against Zilla Zane. That's what I was talking about to flat out earlier. Jerry Forrest. Jerry Forrest went out there and man, we got a lot of heavyweights with some dogs over here, man. Jerry Forrest, a dog. He went the distance with Michael Hunter, same Michael Hunter who beat Bacoli. He got a decision with him. I mean a draw. And Jerry Forrest went up there and he got dropped by Zhang in the first, second, third, and went 10 rounds and had a draw. And Zhang lost a point for holding. He almost got stopped. You know, Zhang gas tank. Yeah, Jerry Forrest, problem. And let me see. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Dillian White last fight, he was getting beat down, man. Dillian White was getting beat down his last fight. Seen Dillian White, he gonna get Ebenezer Tutti out of Ghana. Tutti is 36 years old. He looked like he older than that. He looked like 45. And Tutti got knocked out in the first round against Clark, but he went 7 rounds against. Oh yeah, they stopped there early. I remember that. Nah, man. Nah, Tutti got robbed in my eyes, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. I feel like Tutti got robbed. But yeah, man, if you look at it though, the list of fighters, I had noticed I noticed around the time Jermaine Franklin was on ESPN, I was like, a couple of these heavyweights putting in work. Then when Franklin went overseas and fought Joshua and Dillian White, that's when I realized then these guys be really putting in some work against these guys. They really be putting some work in against these guys. They really do. Because when you look at it, like Brandon Moore, he just fought against Skylar Lacey. That's why I said Jermaine Franklin could have fought him. Kingsley eBay, I saw him recently. Charles Martin, obviously 39. Like I said, Jerry Forrest was good. I can't believe they got Jake Paul on this list, bro. The fact that they got Jake Paul in the rankings is insane, bro. Yeah, Jake Paul name on here is crazy. This man ranked over Skylar Lacey. Yeah, that's wild even looking at that. This dude ranked over Earl Newman and everything. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, a lot of these heavyweights though, man, they don't really get to mix it up like that. They don't really get to mix it up like that, to be honest with you. Yeah, Gerald Washington. Gerald Washington had gave Chisora a hard fight. I thought Gerald Washington was close to beating Chisora that last fight. And Gerald Washington is an ex-football player. Man, if he was a boxer full time, like for his whole life, he would have beat the brakes off of Derek Chisora. If he was a full time boxer, he would be the brace off on. That just showed me right there. Styles make fights, man. Yeah, but they trying to sit up here and promote Wilder and Fury 4. That ain't finna happen, man. It's fake news. I mean, it possibly could as far as on Wilder end. I know he always want to smoke, so that's the only reason they can promote something like that. But I wouldn't even get them. I'll show y'all what I'm talking about. I want to get these people attention on this crap. They want people to talk about stuff like this. This is not finna happen. They're gonna use a possibility of Wilder and Fury fighting again to try to promote Fury's upcoming fight with Joshua. And, oh well, if these guys win this, maybe they can fight Wilder next. You know, all that stuff that could have happened 10 years ago. That could have happened 10 years ago already. This is exactly what they want us to do. Talking about something that's not finna happen. But yeah, they always do that, man. They'll try to act like something a fantasy fight is gonna happen when they already have something on the table. They're already planning. Then they'll be like, well, if these guys do this, it's a possibility. Just like, they said if Fury beats Usyk and if Joshua beats Dubois, they can fight in March. They both lost. Both of them lost. It's insane. Even though Ngannou lost to Fury, he still fought Joshua. But they said Wilder can't fight Joshua because he lost. Ngannou lost too, though, right? So that shows you that they thought Ngannou won the fight. Well, Joshua, he can fight Ngannou who lost. He can fight an MMA fighter who just lost a fight. But him fighting a boxer who just lost? Nah, that's too hard. Come on, man. Yeah, that didn't make any sense. But things happen for a reason, though. Things definitely happen for a reason. Joshua was injured. I guess Wilder had an injury that he's fully healed from. So things definitely happen for a reason. But we're just in a stage right now where we let them do what they wanted to do for the past decade. And now we have to build up from scratch. Ground zero. Got to build everything up again. And the sport gonna have to build everything up again. If not, ain't nobody trying to come in and build a sport back up. They're just trying to get whatever they can out of it and get up out of here. But they ain't trying to build a sport up. There's too much talent in boxing not to be able to flourish the way that other people are. Especially when you see MMA, all these people popping up. And what's crazy is they're gonna have MMA on ESPN and everything, and it's not gonna be on it's not gonna be any boxing on there. So now a lot of people now are more used to seeing MMA around than they are boxing. Which is crazy, but I would have never thought that. I grew up in an era where ESPN Classic Fights was always on 24/7. Now it's always an MMA fight on 24/7. That's what they value now. I think Conor McGregor kind of changed the game on that. When Conor McGregor came out and fought Floyd, that brought a lot of attention to UFC more than people realize. That's why I was telling people recently. I don't know. I'm not gonna say I don't know. I know for sure that Tyson Fury is not, and Canelo is not more popular than Conor McGregor or Ryan Garcia. You can have as many followers as you want, but they're not as popular as those guys are. I mean, as Conor McGregor is. And those guys, what Ryan Garcia had Floyd around, and Canelo fought Floyd, just like Conor McGregor did. So you know, Conor McGregor's a bigger star though. So it just goes to show. And I think, and when I told people last year that Canelo, and this is before Canelo had signed to fight Jake Paul, I told people last year Canelo created Jake Paul because of the things he didn't want to do. You gotta think about it. The only reason Jake Paul is around right now is because he's giving some fans the option of what should I do next. You gotta think about it. It's some people's favorite fighters out here that didn't say, "Hey, I want to see Benavidez and Canelo." A lot of people wasn't really pushing for that. According to Canelo, more people asked him to fight Crawford than Benavidez. And I know that he's telling the truth because in Mexico, that's what they was asking him. So yeah, at the end of the day, man, like when Conor McGregor fought Floyd, when people say, "Oh, well, Floyd ruined the boxing or whatever," nah, it was to a point where people got greedy with what Floyd was able to do. Like people got to realize these people who was putting on the fights, they got greedy too. Because as soon as the fights like Floyd went away and Floyd's not doing fights no more, or they're selling like Conor McGregor, we see what Showtime is going to now. They're out of here. They're out of here. If they were still making money like they did with Pacquiao and Floyd, they'll still be in the boxing game. But they're focused on the money though. When the money went coming in, they're like, "Oh man." But then people will tell you, "Oh, Floyd hurt the boxing game." Not from what I'm seeing. These people, they ate good with Floyd. And to the point, they ate so good to the point where they want to make fights like Floyd. They complained about it, but now they want to put together Fury versus Ngannou and Jake Paul versus Canelo, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. They'll say they have a problem with what Floyd does, but they go around and do the same thing he was just doing. That's the thing that bugs me about the boxing industry these days. It's like, how many times are you going to complain about what these guys are doing before you realize that the boxing industry going to turn around and do the same thing they're doing? If Canelo wasn't fighting Crawford right now, he'd be fighting Jake Paul, and with no pushback. And I think a lot of these people in the industry, they kind of mad because Canelo went his own separate way. He's gonna give he's gonna give Terrence Crawford a chance, and he was gonna fight Jake Paul. So in the back of their mind, they're like, "Oh, he's gonna fight Jake Paul. Ain't nothing I can do as far as supporting him." So yeah, they've been letting everybody talk about Canelo the last couple of weeks, throwing him under the bus, man. This dude has been talked about so bad recently. I haven't seen none of his super fans jumping out nowhere, cutting down these people who was talking about Canelo Alvarez. It amazes me. It amazes me. This is the time where everybody has to prove that they are super fans of these guys. So, do people call Wilder fans fanboys because he has real fans? Because from what I'm seeing right now, these other guys ain't got no fans. So I don't know if people understand it or not. A fanboy is not somebody being a super fan. A fanboy is actually what the fans of Tyson Fury and Canelo are displaying right now. Is that you want to pick certain situations where you want to defend a certain fighter. but you'll let the media and the boxing public say that Canelo's gonna get finished by Crawford. But you just spent the last 6 months talking about he gonna get knocked out. Crawford gonna get knocked out by Canelo. Why didn't saying stuff to all these reporters and trainers, jumping out posting videos about why they ain't trolling none of these guys talking about Canelo gonna get beat up and knocked out by Crawford? Why is everybody starting to change their feelings now? Ryan Garcia got everybody feeling weird. They got everybody scared out here. Exactly what it looks like. It look like Ryan Garcia got everybody. I'm gonna tell y'all, be honest with you. Ryan Garcia got everybody shook out here, bro. Ryan Garcia got everybody shook out here. It's people that really believed that whatever happened with him was not gonna happen. The man has everybody shook. They do not know what's gonna happen next. They don't know why that happened. A lot of things, but they are definitely shook when it comes to that guy. I'm telling you. I'm not just saying this. The fact that that happened, and they're gonna say, yeah, well, Canelo, he lost because of William Skull. He was running, but I'm gonna pick Crawford. I think Crawford gonna knock Canelo out, but it was William Skull fought while Canelo looked bad. They can't even tell the truth. These dudes is cooked out here, man. They can't even tell the truth about Canelo looking bad. These dudes is cooked out here. They can't tell the truth about Canelo looking bad. They can't do it. They cannot do it, man. I'm gonna tell y'all, bro. These people, they will get online and talk about how these celebrities are sellouts and they sell their soul and they do this. These people cannot get online and admit the truth that they already know. Instead of them getting online saying Ryan Garcia looked bad for this reason, that, they're gonna sell their soul and just sit on a lie, just so they don't have to sit up here and admit the truth about boxing. This is the sport of boxing, man. And people are that serious and that you that territorial about boxing? You ain't even in the sport of boxing. You ain't that serious about boxing. No. Not the way you lie about something like that. You ain't helping the sport of boxing like that. So yeah, man, a lot of these dudes are selling their souls, man. Y'all gotta watch out for who y'all mingle with when it comes to boxing. You might think these people are just content creators or whatever, but bro, if somebody can't admit a simple thing like that, you don't need to be around that. That's I don't know, man. That's evil, man. That's evil energy. I'm telling you. People look at it just a sport or whatever, bro. You can't give somebody like that your energy. If I'm around here lying on boxers or whatever, I'm trolling. Maybe I'm just doing that one day, but bro, I don't need to get that kind of energy though. I don't need to give that energy to anybody. It's not helping the sport of boxing. Y'all see now, the people who do all this trolling and stuff, when it's time to troll, and they ain't nowhere to be around. I don't like no front runners. Boxing got way too many front runners and reporters that's taking this way too serious. I'm trying to think of a sports movie they had where a reporter was like, maybe the chick from Jerry Maguire, the people from Jerry Maguire. You remember Jerry Maguire when they wrote the article about him at the end? I think dudes be taking sports serious like that. They be acting like Jerry Maguire out here. They be doing the show me the money and everything out here. I'm like, these people are really serious about sport of boxing. But then when it's time to talk some facts, oh, that's just my opinion though. That's cool, but how much money your opinion gonna make you though? In the sport of boxing. Your feelings and everything. People ain't trying to hear about nobody's feelings all day. And then when you can't stand on something later on down the line, that's really a bad look. I'm very disappointed in every boxing fan who felt like they was a super Tyson Fury fan. They knew everything about him, and I promise to God that he's not gonna fall off a cliff and not look the same. All these dudes making these swears and promises, and I put everything on it, all this weird stuff. But then the dude looked bad, and then like, man, I don't need to be near none of these guys that's doing all this swearing and stuff, and these dudes ain't producing. Why are we the only country right now that has to argue about is taking drugs bad in sports? Are we serious? Like, what fighter? I don't know. I don't know how people can understand that. Like, I got PTSD from that, bro. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I got PTSD from people saying drugs is okay in the sport of boxing. The one sport you ain't supposed. Then you got boxers out here talking about some, man, this is the one sport you. This ain't basketball or football. Then the dude after he win, he talking about some, oh, it don't matter. It ain't gonna. I'm gonna be honest with you. If fans don't know that you even saying stuff like that, you're not that popular. If they know that Wilder had a heavy suit on, but they don't know that these guys said that PEDs matter, but then they said it don't matter. These guys ain't that popular, man. It's time to work on that resume. It's time to bring some bigger fights in. To be honest with you, it's time to work on that resume. To have a big name in the internet and everything in this era, and then to do the extra stuff to actually get the attention of the fans, and for all of that to not really go through and flourish, it's embarrassing for real. It's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing. Every time I look around, man, Wilder name popping up, but they using this dude to promote every trash boxer who ain't trying to fight nobody. These heavyweights, I'm not impressed by the heavyweights, man. I think most of them are trash. To be honest with you, I'm not impressed by most of them. I think most of them is trash. I think most of them have used the fire that a lot of these American heavyweights have put in the boxing over the years that don't get credit. I think they're starting to wear it out, man. It's starting to go bad right now. It's starting to go bad. You got Joshua coming up on what? He's gonna be out another year. Well, he's gonna be out a year. Um, it's gonna be close to a year when Fury jumps back in the ring. If he does, what? The guy's taking out 10, 12 months in the middle of their career, and you have all the push, and everybody's basically been waiting on you. Other fights have been pushed back. It's time to move on in this era of boxing. Whatever fights they trying to get done, they better get it done this year. I'm not finna go into next year talking about some fight from 2015 that should have got made. This is ridiculous. They talk about Pacquiao versus Mayweather. Nobody waited this long on Mayweather versus Pacquiao. Nobody. They didn't start talking about this fight between Mayweather and Pacquiao. Really? I heard about it the first time like '07 probably. Uh, that wasn't 10 years. Oh, was it 10 years? No, that wasn't 10 years. The fight got made, what, 2015? The Mayweather fight? That was 15, wasn't it? And they was putting on big fights in between that. You gotta think about who Pacquiao and Floyd was fighting. That's why I said boxing fans are spoiled, bro. Like Floyd and Pacquiao spoiled these guys. And Canelo ruined these people. Because you had Floyd and Pacquiao fighting all those guys, Cotto and um Mosley and all these people, and people like, yeah, man, we had to wait so long on Pacquiao to fight Floyd. Bro, you was getting good fights. You had to wait so long. You had to wait so long because y'all asked Floyd to rematch Maidana. These fans asked Floyd to rematch Maidana before he fought Pacquiao. Hey, bro, short attention span like hell, boy. He said Skip Kabayel for Parker. Bossa has always been over for yeah, Kabayel said he got skipped in the rankings by he was number one after he fought what's up the DBC heavyweight. He said Tyson Fury. Kabayel said he was number one after he beat Frank Sanchez, and then they made Tyson Fury number one around that time when he was supposed to be number one. So whatever Joseph Parker and Fury positions they was in, I already knew that Kabayel when they put Joseph Parker in position over Kabayel that was a weird situation because Kabayel ain't never lost, ain't never been knocked out. This dude's coming off of stoppages and everything else against legit heavyweights, and I don't know. It's people like I don't know. It's like the attention going straight into Moses Tama and everything else, and it's like, what about Kabayel though? I don't know. I guess Germany don't get no love like that. I don't know what it is. I thought Germany used to get some love, man. I guess when they making sports cars, that's when they get the credit. But yeah, from what I seen, they definitely got to make something happen soon. Cause hey, it's only so many ways you can go. I'm hearing people talking about then Frank Warren talking about some Bacoli versus Atama. We went from Bacoli fighting possibly Anthony Joshua to now fighting Moses Atama. What is the heavyweight boxing division doing? What is that division doing? It's like we ain't even challenging guys no more. And this is not me complaining. This is real concerns, bro. Y'all gotta understand. This is real concerns. Real concerns. Technically, Tyson Fury has never gave us a fight that we asked for out of nowhere. I know he fought Usyk. Okay, that was undisputed. Out of nowhere, just like, oh, fight Joshua. Oh, okay, let me do that. Wilder came to him and said, hey, I'm talking about something. Fury was like, hey, what you want me to do? Nah, ain't never been no process like that. That's what I'm saying. I don't even know the guys who are doing that, they're not really valued. So I don't know what we're looking for out here when it comes to the matchups. I don't know what we're looking for no more. And it's kind of hard for me to ask boxers to jump into certain situations when I know that, um, you know, just the way the testing and everything has been going on. It's just hard to ask certain boxers to jump in situations because it's just me as a fan at this point. I've been watching boxing long enough to know that everybody ain't doing what certain guys is doing. Tyson Fury is not even doing what Joshua was doing. Y'all got to remember, Joshua had the, after he was supposed to be matching Ghana. That is so, bro, I'm telling you, that is so embarrassing, man. The fact that nobody even looks at that is embarrassing. That is embarrassing. That's crazy, man. This man went out there and got dropped by Ghana and nobody cares. Not that I'm trying to make people like Tyson Fury more, was displayed. You know what I'm saying? Because the way it was displayed, people said didn't nobody know Wilder and Fury was popular and everything else, and he's a superior boxer. And I never heard people really, and I told people recently, this guy doesn't really, he's not, I don't think he's in love with the sport. I think he's in love with the glamour and the fame or whatever. I don't think he's in love with the sport though. You don't get a loss against Usyk by decision and you say, oh, I'm hanging it up. That's weak, man. That's weak minded, man. That's weak minded. That's weak minded. You got every advantage you could think of, and you don't want to proceed with your career because of a decision loss that was obvious. Yeah, man, history is I think that because of um I will say this because of Fury lack of a lengthy resume, it's gonna hurt Usyk's chances at being an all time great because Fury's resume is so horrible. And then people say Wilder's not a good win. As far no, they don't say that Wilder's not a good win. They say he's not a good fighter, but they treat the Fury victory over Wilder like it's the greatest thing since Ali beat Foreman. But man, can he duplicate this against somebody who's 250? That's kind of what I'm looking at. Like, can we get somebody who's 250 that he can give a hard time? That's kind of where I'm at. Okay, I've seen him beat guys, get dropped by guys with 200 pounds and end up winning. But can you do it against some guys with 250? Highly skilled, like Usyk, Joseph Parker, somebody. Yeah, guys been getting away fighting these skinny guys, man. I don't know if y'all know it. Guys been getting away with this weight bullying stuff too. I know people was talking about weight bullies last year, and that became a word in the sport of boxing, and I felt like it was disrespectful, but people kept saying it. And then you have mainstream media and big boxing outlets with millions of subscribers saying weight bully this and weight bully that. So if you're a guy like Tyson Fury and you have heavyweights who are around your same size or heavier than you that you never fought before, I can consider you a weight bully without actually trolling. Like factually, he's a weight bully. By factually, he's a weight bully. Daniel Dubois has fought bigger heavyweights than Tyson Fury. Than Tyson Fury has fought. He's a weight bully. Let's go ahead and get it out of the way now. And you can just look at the resume, look at the size, look at everything. Every time a guy's close in size, he struggles. You know, we've been building up these fighters for years in the sport of boxing, man. We are tired of building up guys who are not bringing any value to the sport, man. This dude, you can look at his resume. I know these guys, bro. I know these fighters. I watch the sport of boxing. I'm not the Oracle from the Matrix, but I watch boxing though. Everybody who's close to his size, he gets whooped by. Everybody. That's why with the Joshua fight, yeah, you would have to lean toward Joshua because Fury doesn't have a history of beating guys. Even Joshua was stepping to Usyk. Fury foot running around and like he's 200 pounds. Now, if Wilder would have won the ring and fought like Fury did against Usyk, if he would have threw the same punches, moved around the same way, these cowards out here would have been like, "Oh, he's done. He needs to retire. He just went 12 rounds with Joseph Parker. He needs to retire." Fury out there on the back foot fighting like Rigondeaux, somebody, then everybody all 6, 7 rounds. Y'all notice that? Cowards out here. Fury's on the back foot the whole time. Dude lived in the corner that second fight. Ain't nobody say nothing about that fight being exciting or anything. uh, I ain't hear nobody say something about that fight being super exciting. It wasn't. It wasn't super exciting for Fury to get walked down. That wasn't exciting. And I'm just showing the younger generation because I'm telling you, man, the older generation, y'all know what's going on. So everybody who don't agree with what I'm saying, I mean, I can't teach an old dog new tricks. But the younger generation, you see what's going on right now. This for y'all right here. You see what's going on. Ain't nobody trying to make this. this situation that's already been broken down, you got to realize these people are destroying the sport we love for personal gain and personal reasons. They don't quit care about boxing. I don't care if Bob Arum or anybody was standing in front of me right now. You using the sport of boxing for personal gain, allegedly. Because at the end of the day, anybody can get in the sport of boxing and say, hey, man, I feel like this guy won. I can definitely get in the sport of boxing right now and say, my guy won every time. Yeah, my guy won then. He went 12 rounds. No, he won. They can do that every time. That's what boxing is turned into. I can watch WWE like that. I mean, I know Stone Cold gonna drink the beer at the end and he gonna stand, give me a hell yeah and all this. All right, cool. If that's what boxing is, then yeah. Turn this into WWF Raw. Monday nights. Yeah, turn into that. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, you're not gonna find out everybody who's the best by having 50 rematches. But one thing I knew about boxing though, man, you can't take shortcuts and everybody doesn't hang up the gloves at the same time. When Andre Ward hung the gloves up, people knew what time it was. They knew how good he was. They knew when nobody trying to call him out. When nobody want to smoke when Andre Ward when he hung up the gloves. Nobody. Then Canelo moved up and fought Kovalev. So that's even more embarrassing on his part without him knowing it. Um, and Triple G, because Canelo's smaller than you. He went up to 75 and you did it. And they comparing you to Marvin Hagler. Hey, I'm gonna say something else too, bro. Everybody who's comparing Triple G to Marvin Hagler, Ring Magazine, I don't care who you are, bro. Y'all need to cut that out, man. Triple G will never be on Marvin Hagler's level. Triple G let Canelo go from 147 all the way up to 75. And Triple G fought in that same one weight class his whole career. This man, he's not even better than Canelo. He's not even better than Lara. I'm not being funny either. I'm being dead serious. Lara's like almost 45 years old and getting it done right now. When Triple G was 40, he looked like he was 50. If you don't believe me, go ask anybody what that last Canelo versus Triple G fight looked like. The man was the same age as what Bitterbeev and Usyk is right now. And he looked like he was 100 years old. And these people got Bitterbeev doing three rematches. Not three rematches. They got him doing 3 fights with Bivol at the age of 40. But they sit around here and let these other guys like Triple G sit at one weight class his whole career. He get at the age of 40 with Canelo. And don't look like nothing. And you got people out here talking about he an all-time great. Stop it, bro. Y'all still trying to build up fighters? Triple G ain't did nothing for boxing. How Triple G did something for boxing when everybody wants to see Terrence Crawford fight Canelo right now? If Triple G would have did his job, we wouldn't even be watching Canelo versus Crawford right now. They be giving all these dudes credit for nothing, man. Just for jumping in the ring with Canelo. Man, I hate when they build up fights and stuff like that, man. That fight ain't did nothing for boxing. Ryan Garcia and Tank was bigger than that fight. That fight did nothing for boxing. For real. I'm not being mean or anything like that. That fight did nothing for boxing. All you did was fight a 47 at 160, embarrass the sport of boxing. Then you let Canelo go from 47 all the way up to 75 when all you did was go up to 168 for one fight so you can get a Canelo payday. And then you got Fury doing the same thing, man. They building up these guys. When y'all gonna start building up fighters I like? I want to see fighters I like get robberies too. I would love to see a fighter I'm watching get a rob. That never happened before. That's something I need to talk about. I have never had a fighter that the judges robbed somebody for so he can win. I've never had a fighter get a decision because somebody else got robbed. Never. But yeah, I've been on here way too long though, man. I appreciate everybody for coming on here and chop it up with me. I was just trying this little streaming app, see what's going on real quick. I like what's going on. But yeah, I was just chopping it up, man. That's all I wanted to talk about. But yeah, I might be ranting or whatever, but hey man, bro, the discussions in boxing, man, it's past discussions now. When you gotta hear about when you gotta have discussions about if drugs is okay in boxing, man, it ain't worth no talking going on in boxing. Ain't no talking. There's no talking in boxing. There is no more talking. You gotta ask somebody if drugs is a good thing or a bad thing in boxing. Come on, man. Shout out to Wild Man too, man. What's going on, man? I ain't seen you in a minute, man. Nice to see you up in here. I ain't seen Wild Man in a minute. You got any premieres coming up? I need to go ahead and check. I don't be logged in on my other account. Sometimes I don't be logged into my boxing account. I be missing your videos. Sometimes I just post something instead of like logging in. But yeah, that fight in Kansas is gonna be good. Yeah, man. Like drugs are bad. Like, come on. Like, if that's the case, then legalize weed, man. I'm tired of having to go. They taking this long to legalize weed, and they wild man. We can't have marijuana that's legalized worldwide, but they talking about some PEDs for a fight is okay. Man, y'all, nah. I done seen way too many people go to jail for some marijuana. I ain't finna. Nah, dudes that went to jail for a roach, for a blunt and everything. Now they talking about some PEDs is good. Nah. Then you got people that went to jail for drugs that's saying, oh, that ain't a big deal. You got dudes that went to drugs that did that. Oh, you didn't do one this Tuesday? Dang. You got dudes that went to jail for drugs and they're like, PEDs ain't that bad. You know, it don't make no difference. Like, ah, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. I ain't gonna lie. If everybody didn't go out there and wet the bed recently, this wouldn't even be a topic. The only reason this is a topic right now is because, yeah, alcohol is worse. Yeah, alcohol bad, man. Especially when these people be driving and getting in the car. Yeah, it'd be crazy. Yeah, alcohol will ruin you. But yeah, I know one thing though. I'm gonna say this. I'm seeing everybody jumping off the bandwagon. I'm like, man, everybody jumping off bandwagons. Yeah, it's worse. Way worse. It's not even good to mix them. I know it's a couple times where I had mixed them. You know, I did drink and did the other one, but nah, it ain't even good to mix them, especially these days. But yeah, man, everybody jumping on the bandwagon now. Now everybody gonna start changing their favorite fighters again. See, what I'm starting to notice now is year to year when they have favorite fighters. Everybody's favorite fighter from last year ain't gonna be the same as this year, which is understandable. But we're talking about the other guy. He's not just getting replaced; he's getting forgotten. I'm like, I can't believe these people let Canelo's name. Yeah, I know. I know. I was gonna wait make some. You ever made some wine before? I seen people that was doing that. I think I did that one time before. Yeah, I figure out how to make some wine. I'm gonna be in the game though. From fruit too. Yeah, but it's. Yeah, because Fury he drinks and he boxes. A lot of boxers still drink. It plays a huge part though, especially when it comes to like body shots and being able to hold up. Oh yeah, yeah, Canelo's still a beast. Yeah, he's still a beast. See, wow, man, that's his favorite boxer. See, people think I hate Canelo. Absolutely not. This proves right. Hey, Native Wild man, this actually you seen what they've been saying about Canelo the last couple of weeks, bro. They sitting up here talking about Canelo's gonna get washed by Crawford. They ain't said none of this the last couple of weeks. Now all of a sudden, oh, he's getting washed and Canelo's old now, and they trying to make people not even watch the fight. I don't think these people love boxing, wild man. It's like every time they talking about Crawford not being good in the fight, then they talk about Canelo not being good in the fight. It just seems like they're trying to stop this fight from being as big as it's supposed to be. It could be the biggest fight ever, but when you got everybody running around talking about how trash Canelo is, that's not gonna help. And Canelo's the guy who's actually trying to fight people. They're not really throwing no names out there for him. The only name I see as far as Benavidez and Andre in the past, they have, other people haven't really thrown any names out there. So man, I'm just glad Canelo fighting Crawford. Shoes, at least somebody fighting Crawford. Back in a couple of years ago, nobody was gonna fight him. I think because Crawford fought Earl Spence, a lot of people feel like, oh, Crawford gonna fight. He fights a lot of these guys. Nah, he ain't been able to fight a lot of these guys. He's not in a position like Canelo is. But yeah, Canelo definitely made this era of boxing a lot better. But I'm more disappointed in the fans and the media. They turned on Canelo because now Canelo start to do what he wants to do. They always say Canelo can do whatever he wants. That was a lie. They always say Canelo can do whatever he wants. And then when he finally does what he wants, they make it seem like he sold out you know, the boxing game or something. How has he sold these guys out when he's putting on the best fights? Cause I do complain about a lot of things Canelo does, but Canelo has to realize, bro, you have to have big fights over here in this country as well. You can't just be over here fighting Cullen Smiths but does Canelo do more than what Triple G does? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what Canelo gets credit for. But my thing is right now, it looks like Canelo's not getting the respect he deserves because I'm looking at people online comparing Triple G to Marvin Hagler. Then I'm looking at Canelo go to 175 and fight guys, but now it's like, oh well, he's cooked, or oh he looked bad against Skull, so he's not going to do anything. And they're doing this to Canelo now. Man has 60 something fights. He can't have one bad night. And people are trying to act like they're diehard fans. I don't believe it. I told these people I don't believe it. You're going way too hard for somebody to not know what's going on. And the man, you basically haven't gave this man any kind of fight you want to see him fight. Yeah, and then look how old Triple G did look. He was 40 years old, like an old man fighting Canelo. Dude fought one weight class. Then the toughest fights he had was Canelo and Jacobs. So it's like he didn't really take no beating throughout his career where he needed to be looking like an old man like that. But and then Usyk and Bitterbev is fighting at 40 years old right now as well. So it's a huge difference. But yeah, I definitely give Canelo credit for that because Um, Even right now with him fighting Crawford or whatever, they always say he can do whatever he wants, but it don't seem like that's happening right now. They're kind of turning on him and throwing out. I don't know if this is truthful. This actually makes the boxing industry look bad because you're saying the complete opposite of what you said last year about Canelo, and you said he'll stop Crawford, and somehow William Skull, they said, ran around the ring, and now all of a sudden he'll get stopped. Canelo will get stopped by Crawford. It's crazy. Yeah, even Ali had bad nights. Like, man, come on. Then they sit up here and, oh man, he's cooked. Why he didn't look bad last year when he went the distance with Munguia and Berlanga? Why they gotta wait till now? I feel like they don't want the fight to do well. Like I said, this is one of the first times Canelo's stepped up and said, "I'm gonna make this fight happen on my own without anybody stepping in, no Eddie Hearn, Oscar, or these guys." So they kind of just mad about it right now. They like, why is he fighting Crawford? He fighting Crawford because he said he was the best, and Canelo said Crawford was the best before everybody else did. He said Crawford was the best before he fought Charlo. He said that he would like to fight Crawford, but the boxing industry is like, nah, we don't want to see that. So these people who run boxing, they don't even want to see Canelo put on the best fights. If he's not fighting Benavidez, they're okay with anything else but Crawford. It's like that don't make any sense. You don't want Crawford to fight Charlo though. There's so many fights they told Canelo and Charlo not to take, and we're not talking about just regular people out here. We're talking about real powerful people who have a voice in the boxing game. Who said, "Why should Canelo fight any of these guys, like Crawford and anybody else?" And then in other cases, they say, "Why are these guys fighting these type of people?" So I don't know, like Crawford. Why should he fight Charlo? Who don't want to see Charlo versus Crawford? When I heard that, it's no convincing these people. And the first thing they brought up was size. Size does not play a huge part in boxing like that. If it did, Tyson Fury would be the best boxer to ever live. Size is not uh, a big deal in boxing as much as people think. To be honest with you, a lot of guys use their size so they can get advantages, especially at the heavyweight division. Yeah, he does have a chance to win. I'm rolling with Crawford, but I'm not one of those people that's like, I guarantee. I've been picking Crawford over Canelo for years, but nah, Canelo's not a easy fight where you just go out there, especially a toe to toe fight, which I know it's going to be. Yeah, it's not an easy fight to have with Canelo. It's a good time to catch him, because Crawford is an older guy too, so it's going to be a good fight. They're both up in age. It's going to be a year since Crawford fought Majramov, so we'll see how he looks. And Canelo's going to be 35 by the time that fight happens. I told people a couple months ago that was something that you should keep an eye on. Canelo getting older, because the man is definitely getting older and slowing down. And I think more so, I think the thing that hurt Canelo the most is him fighting twice a year. You know, Everybody's not built to fight twice a year like that. Even when George Foreman was around that age, he was fighting 4 or 5 times a year. It's just naturally fighting that many times in a year is just not good for you, man. It's just not. Fighting twice a year it doesn't make any sense. You training months and months and months and jump in the ring for 30 minutes, and that's it. And you're gonna do that twice. So if you're in your prime is usually what? I say 4 to 5 years for most guys. So that's what, 10 fights, possibly, if you don't get hurt, if you don't get suspended, possibly 8. So yeah, it's a lot of things that go on between that. No, I definitely wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, it's a 50-50 fight, most definitely. Um, the thing about the Crawford and Canelo fight was people were saying that it wasn't a 50-50 fight. They were saying that it wasn't going to be a close fight. Crawford gets stopped. And now people are saying that Canelo don't got any knockouts, but that was something that I mean, if he's moving up to 75, bro, you got to realize him knocking out Kovalev at 75, that is impressive. So he definitely has the power, but it's just different styles match up differently. But I thought the Munguia thing would have kind of made a lot of red flags go off. Like, man, maybe Canelo isn't as young as he used to be, but people overlook that. I don't know why. I don't think William Skull showed me anything I didn't know differently about Canelo. I'm gonna be honest. Kind of confused about why people think William Skull exposed Canelo. I'm not hearing any details on that. I'm hearing people say stuff like that, or they're making comments about Canelo like he did get exposed. But yeah, I don't think they got a good reason on why they say that. But he's been slowing down for a while now. He's been slowing down for a while. I think they might have to watch some of my old videos because I've been telling people for a while. Oscar retired at 35 years old. Canelo was about to be 35 in July. Man, the clock is ticking. And Canelo drinks. He's a drinker. So that's gonna make things age a little faster on your body, but that plays a huge part, man. I'm telling you, definitely plays a huge part. Every boxer says this. Even Earl Spence said it recently. Man, I wish I would have. It's a lot of guys who say that in sports and athletics. It's a lot of guys who run into the situation. Not that they're alcoholics or nothing. It's just once you get to a certain age, you don't want to put things in your body that'll make it harder to kind of bounce back, go off and train, and get in the gym. Yeah, because Canelo was sponsored by Dos Equis, and then he's Mexican, and uh, these guys have some of the best tequila and everything in Mexico. So yeah, it's different kind of it's just different kind of culture. So a lot of those guys drink on the side or whatever. It's a lot of DUI. But what I noticed though, it'd be a lot of situations when guys do that and they retire early. If you look at the boxers who got DUIs and arrests for alcohol recently, man, those guys they retire early. Not because they're alcoholics or something like that, but just not living the lifestyle they need to be living. Like somebody, for example, I remember when Maurice Hooker, and I like Maurice Hooker. I think he's a good fighter. I think he was a beast. But bro was drinking way too much, bro. Maurice Hooker ran into a parked police car. And then I think he fought Jose Ramirez after that. Man ran into a police car that was parked. You know how drunk you got to be to drive into a police car? So yeah, a lot of these guys taking DUIs and taking and getting whooped after getting DUIs too. So yeah, it takes a toll on your body, man. They have to watch out for stuff like that. Oh, what's going on, Abdul? What's up, man? Yeah, that Taylor and Usman fight. I'm talking about that in the morning. Oh, Thomas fight this weekend. I was trying to know. I seen something about him fighting. I didn't know what the date was going to be. Kind of was overlooking it when I seen Charlo them fight next week. But yeah, I'm definitely checking out the Josh Taylor fight. I probably was gonna wait until like Friday. I don't know. I want to see what his I want to see what Josh Taylor does. Azulman he gonna end up put he gonna end up giving him a good fight. I know that. It's a big fight for him. They consider it a step up, so but yeah, Josh Taylor gotta make something happen. It's at 47. I don't think Josh Taylor got a lot of confidence at 47, so he got to make it work, man. But with Otama, yeah, I just want to see him get some rounds in. I know he's gonna look spectacular. But they're talking about him later on this year fighting. I think they say either Hergovic or Bacoli. If they can make that fight happen, then yeah, Moses Otama will be a top 10 heavyweight, easy. Top 10, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, top 10, close to 5, top 10. Yeah, he'll definitely be top 10. But yeah, I don't know the guy Thomas fighting though. I've probably seen him before. I gotta look him up. Yeah, shout out to Abdul. It was a fight recently that was controversial. I'm trying to remember who fought recently. It wasn't the Kakashi fight. I don't think I'm thinking about that one. I know they was tripping about the scorecards on that fight. I don't know how I missed that fight. I was waiting all day to watch that fight. I think something happened and I had to miss that fight, but that was a good fight too. But I want to see what Josh Taylor does at 47. I haven't heard too many names. I haven't heard too many people calling Josh Taylor out at 47 saying that running back in a possible fight. I haven't heard him say something about Teofimo or nothing. I know he's not at 47 yet, but yeah, I just haven't heard Josh Taylor really name any fighters that he'll want to get in the ring at 47. I know he's at 47, but it feels like I keep forgetting he's at 47. It feel like I keep forgetting he's at 47 now. But I seen that Oscar Duarte and Kenneth Sims is fighting, so maybe that's something that can maybe happen at 47. But hold on, Oscar Duarte fighting at 47 now? That dude might be fighting at 47. I don't know. I gotta check. That dude was a 135 around the time he fight Ryan. That's crazy. But yeah, I think the sport moving in a good direction. They talking about Eric Molina. Is he said, I've had several offers to fight again. I announced my retirement after my last fight in Canada in 2023. The idea to fight again came to light in 2025. 2025. I like the idea, and I am up for it. Eric Molina said he want to return to fight. Okay. Yeah, that ain't bad, man. He definitely needs to get in the ring again. Yeah, it's a lot of things going on right now, man. Especially heavyweight division. They talking about Klitschko still fighting. Yeah, they talking about Klitschko still fighting. Yeah, this gonna be a good situation for boxing though. We definitely need this. Josh Taylor want Josh Taylor want to do a trilogy with Catterall. So what? They is the winner of Josh Taylor and Azuma versus Catterall and Eubank gonna fight? Catterall don't look that big at 47 either. And he don't look that big. He might be stronger though. He looked a little weight drained the last couple of fights. Yeah, I don't know. Those possibility. Hey, I'm almost kind of surprised that nobody's asking to fight Josh Taylor at 47. I know he lost to Tiafimo, but dude's still an undefeated fighter. I mean, undisputed fighter. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm surprised by that. Yeah, but it's a lot of stuff coming out about Canelo. I'm just like, wow, man. They turned on Canelo so fast. Maybe they got that new guy they're gonna replace him with. That does happen in boxing. Yeah, Klitschko's gonna try to get it. Klitschko's gonna try to get it, man. And I think the only reason he's trying it is because he's seeing there's clean boxing going on now. I don't think Klitschko was gonna get involved with boxing when there was a lot of this dirty stuff going on. Guys failing tests. I think that's probably the reason why he stepped away because a lot of guys he could have fought has been caught, on the PEDs. A lot of guys that Klitschko could have fought. So yeah, once I see him return, man, that'll definitely be a good look for him. Yeah, Holyfield. Yeah, you already know that. Holyfield had a hard 90s, man. In the 90s, it was rough for him. Yeah, they made it hard for Holyfield, man. And the dude was a exciting fighter, man. They went Holyfield was an exciting fighter, and I don't know, man. It just I never understood it. Fought Lennox twice, all kind of stuff. Mike twice, fought everybody. Riddick Bowe. Like in the 90s, man, he was getting it done, man. Fought Foreman and everything. Foreman was old then, but that just lets you know what kind of dude Foreman was, though. That lets you know what kind of dude Foreman was then. But yeah, Holyfield had got Buster Douglas out of there early though. But Buster Douglas went out there and stopped a Mike, and then Holyfield went out there and destroyed him. Yeah, that's why when everybody be like, man, I want an exciting fighter. Holyfield was exciting. Ain't nobody trying to see no exciting fighters. They be trying to fool us on that one, man. Yeah, they definitely try to fool us on that one. Exciting fighters? Mm. But yeah, man, hopefully boxing is prepared. It doesn't feel like, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. But hopefully if boxing is prepared to understand that it's not gonna slow down anytime soon. Cause we gotta realize in how long? I think Keyshawn fights in 3 weeks. Like once June gets here, it's gonna the ball gonna start rolling. Yeah, they got a fight coming on tomorrow. I'm in there watching that. Terry Harper fight Friday. Yeah, they got some fights coming on Friday, tomorrow, Friday. Yeah, that's Saturday. I don't know why I keep forgetting about this Leo fight. They having a pro box fight too in Japan. That's crazy. I keep forgetting that Leo and Roach is with pro box. I don't know why I keep thinking they with somebody else. Yeah, then Khalil Cole fight next week, and Becknamir fighting Darius Fogel. Hold on, Darius Fogel fighting let's see. Yeah, Fogel fighting at 168. I don't know, man. Becknamir be looking like I don't know why Becknamir that tall though. He be looking like he's tall. He about the same height as me. Dang, I thought for some reason Becknamir be looking tall, man. This dude is this dude's height right on here? Becknamir. Let me see Rosard. When oh man, I heard. I think I'm gonna say that for tomorrow. The next thing I want to talk about. Oh yeah, he is short. I don't know why he looks like a tall guy. He looks like a tall guy though. Yeah, Becknamir is huge though. Oh yeah, he is shorter. Yeah, it was not the exhibition, but yeah, I know which one you talking about. Yeah, man, him and people kept asking him and Roy Jones to hang it up, but yeah, them dudes kept fighting, man. I remember when Roy Jones started fighting on smaller platforms, they start complaining about his fights. I'm like, that's when I was a kid. I'm like, dang, Roy Jones used to fight everybody. I don't know why they complain about Roy Jones. Yeah, that's crazy. Holyfield and Roy Jones fought everybody, bro, but they don't get the respect like that though. As much as they fought guys, and yeah, they don't get the respect like they should in a lot of ways. But yeah, man, I appreciate everybody for coming through, man. I want to hang out here for a while. I ain't want to be on too long, but I'm gonna try to be back on here tomorrow. Well, actually, I'm gonna be back on here tomorrow. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that, and I got the Canelo thing out of the way, so it is what it is. But yeah, if you miss anything, I broke down a lot early on in the live. If you want to go back, but uh, just from what I see right now, the state of boxing is like everybody is giving out ideas and pushing boxing in a certain direction. They're making certain fighters the face of boxing, and now they're talking bad about them. They're talking bad about Ryan. They're talking bad about Tyson Fury. They're not trying to support Ryan Garcia, Tyson Fury. You just had Teofimo Lopez out here slandering Canelo Alvarez and everybody else out here. So doing more talking outside the ring than actually doing inside the ring. So at the end of the day, these are who the fans picked. These are who everybody used their political power to basically put in a position to flourish in the sport of boxing. If this was the '90s, this would be embarrassing. And we had all this talent walking around, and people say, "Yeah, man, we need to put Ryan Garcia ahead of Holyfield, and let's put him ahead of Lennox Lewis and De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins, or let's put Roy Jones on the undercard of Ryan Garcia." Like, bro, you ain't finna put. They're not finna push the sport of boxing in no direction doing that. You keep putting talented fighters on undercards of guys who's borderline Jake Paul Juniors. It ain't gonna work out. It's not gonna work out. Instead of the boxing game a couple of weeks ago saying, you know what, man, we should listen to y'all. Ryan Garcia is not really no main event fighter. Saying that, they just complained about his tank. Oh, that was a bad fight, man. People forget that, but people complained about Ryan Garcia versus Tank. They don't watch that fight. So, you know, a lot of ways, man, the things that we getting right now that people aren't satisfied with, like they were complaining about a couple of weeks ago, they asked for that. They begged for that. They made whole channels for that. They've supported people in the boxing industry that wanted the boxing to look like that. They've had every piece of information that they feel like they know about. And my thing is, I feel like I've been robbed because people been telling me about how they know everything. And now nobody's explaining what happened. I haven't heard anybody explain what happened yet. Why we got all these smart boxing experts walking around? Ain't nobody explaining what happened recently with these bad cars they was complaining about. Because y'all notice I wasn't complaining about the cars. Because all the other fights been exciting. And those are the people that they wanted to see. The matchups. I was complaining about the fight before it happened. But you know that's how it goes sometimes. But I appreciate everybody for coming through, man. I'll talk to you guys later. Appreciate everybody for supporting coming through and listening to the channel.